Welcome back, Toaster.
Hi, I'm here. Today has been busy for me.
You know, one of the most frequently requested visual novels is a game called Purgatory, but I feel like we're already there.
Correct.
Yeah.
We've been in purgatory the whole time.
Ironically, I hear Purgatory is like one of the shortest visual novels you could read.
I have never heard of it.
Like more like to the scale of like an April Fool's joke Sonic game.
Correct.
I think it's spelled Purgatory. Like like furry. Uh and it's got like line art. It's cute. It's a cozy visual novel. Anyway, we're here.
We
Welcome
are
back.
here. It has been a week, I think, since we last read some, which is positively fast-tracked for our schedule.
Yeah, we back relatively quickly. We did our session 02 of Cape Escape 2. The numbering's getting confusing here. Null playing game season 3, Cape Escape season 2, session 0, part 2.
Correct.
Numbers.
I'm excited for that. It'll be better than this.
I started this preparing and whatnot. There was once upon a time where we were on a mission to finish this as fast as possible because we thought we'd have a period of time where this was over, but Deadlaws was still going, and you could just bask in that. Yeah. Now we're ready to start the next show. And
correct.
It's still coming.
And this is just a horrific waste of my life and my time. Correct, yes.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is.
I've been staring at this screen while prepping, and everybody... what I can't look away from is the fact that every single character is just flat colored, and then Dom is extremely shaded just everywhere. Like, it's just a different art style than the other characters. Like, he has shading along his face and neck and boobies and belly and so on. And I won't call them out, but all I can think about is this one artist that I've seen around that just noticeably does flat art, they just do colored flats of all their art all the time, but then they just have extremely detailed cock shading, and that's the only part that's like really detailed and every single time, and I'm like, huh, and that story stood out to me. So Dom is the dick in this picture is basically the takeaway.
Yes.
The end.
Have I already read this line? I think
I don't know.
Who cares? Stay close and fall behind because I'm not stopping.
Without waiting, he turned and started to trudge towards the trees. Wish us luck. If all goes well, this nightmare of yours ends tonight. Looks directly at Toaster.
I wish. Please, sir, please.
See you all soon. I won't belabor the point that hard, but I'm always taken a little bit off guard by just how incomprehensible the plan is on day 22 or whatever, when it is the single most explained thing in the entire plot of Password. Like, over-explained. An entire day is dedicated to explaining what happens today, and I still don't really understand anyone's logic or what they're doing or why. It's insane. Soon enough, they disappeared among the trees, leaving us behind.
There they go. I hope Dean will be back soon.
We still pretend I'm relevant to the plot.
I have faith that he'll do his best to return fast, but I feel soon might not be soon enough. I'll go fill in Haas and Tyson that they've already left. I'll go fill in Haas and Tyson that they've already left. Okay. That happened pretty fast. Also known as exactly on time for once. And I guess I'll go tell Orlando.
Who cares? It's just, who cares? That's what every time they do a roll call about the logistics of what they're about to do, I'm just like, who fucking cares? Leaving me with what?
Stuck with me, Dave.
All I can think about is that, like, Grizz must care a lot about where everyone currently is. And so, like, a thing happens and then it's time to do the next thing. So his thought process is presumably, where does each character go? What do they do and why? But then he needs to have them all say that out loud in excruciating detail every time. And I'm like, is this going to come up? Because it never comes up. It's never like, oh no, there was a murder. Where did everyone say they were 5 minutes ago? Now these are alibis. And, like, it's never relevant. It's just like, it's akin to who's having burgers today and who's having grilled cheese. Oh, joy. Roswell passed Thanatos off to me, and with Sal headed inside. So what happens next?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Is this the first time we've come this far? Things haven't played out like this?
Pretty much.
And if this goes all right, how do we make sure it repeats? Will you just pretend you don't know?
I'll have to run that by Master, but if that's what it takes.
Well, my head still feels funny. You sure you're not doing anything to mess with me?
Nothing outside the usual, I guess.
What does that mean? And what's the usual?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yes, I would actually.
Well, tough luck. Either way, you should just go to bed.
And who's going to wait for Dean to get back?
One of the others, obviously. He means me. That was not the right voice. I'll get there. Benson's always the hardest one to slip into.
Oh, hey, Benson. You've been missing for most of the day.
Yes, I've been on standby mostly.
I usually just kind of forget what Oz sounded like and just make up a new one if I need to. He shook his head, patting me gently on the shoulder.
But from what I've heard, you've had a fairly eventful day.
It's been a strange day. I still don't know how I really feel just yet.
Then go rest, my boy. I shall await Dean's return, and should anything happen, you shall be fetched.
You're not going to murder Thanatos when no one's watching, are you?
Whatever would give you that idea, Dave?
Just listen. You know what? It's probably fine. I'm gonna go rest.
Wait, you're not serious, are you?
About what?
Rest well, Dave.
I don't know what he's not serious about. He didn't say he was going to murder Thanatos, so the language doesn't match up. I don't think I was tired when I ended up reaching my room, but my head felt like it was full of fog. Under my breath, I kept mumbling things that I knew to be true, like my name, where I was, what had just happened. That's insane. My name is Dave Holloway. I am in the bedroom. Just out loud. Rest is what I needed. Just a chance for my mind to settle. Or at least, that's what I kept telling myself. This is the day where people keep dying and everything keeps going wrong. I better have a nap right now. That's the most productive thing to do about this. But sleep wouldn't come so easy. There was Dean and Oswin to consider. I couldn't afford a full night's sleep if they were going to be back in only a matter of hours at most. You couldn't afford a full night's sleep? That's not what that means. Or at least Dean would be coming back. Part of me felt guilty about sending Osmond off with little fanfare. I thank him. I think thank him or apologize or anything. knowing what he was knowing where he was going, not doing it felt weird. I don't know why, but I think thank's the funniest typo so far. I think thank him. Open your mons a tiny bit, please. That's an old cut. No one knows what that means. Sorry, open yours mons a tiny bit, please, was the angry comment we got ages ago. I just had to tell myself that he'd be fine, relatively speaking. There was no guarantee that he was going to be killed, so that shouldn't have been my base assumption. Of course it should be a base assumption. That's what happens in every timeline, is they kill people. I closed my eyes and tried to relax. Just a nap. That's all I needed to settle down. A nap. People can famously choose which one they do. What I didn't expect was for that nap to be so much more for me than just a little bit of sleep.
Wow. There was another day.
I don't understand why it was day ? Everyone in the story knew what day it was. It just wasn't a question. It's so weird. It was only meant to be a nap, that's all. But as I lay there, I knew I was asleep. As if I'd closed my eyes and nothing else. But I knew that I wasn't conscious and moving around my bedroom. What? Confusing way to write that. Are you saying that he fell asleep and then started sleepwalking? At first I thought I was imagining things, but I started to feel that someone was there watching me. Not in the way that someone else was in the room, but someone else from far away. Far from the mansion and everything going on. Then I felt that presence get closer, until it was as if they were standing right in front of me.
I'm not going to turn this into a 30-minute long tangent, but I do like put on calming music in the background in like videos. I've talked about this last time, but today I'm watching a 3-hour-long ambient music track that's inspired by Silent Hill called "These Feelings Are Suffocating." That's a good vibe for password.
Yeah. I unironically just load up beats to study / relax to. And I usually write to that. I don't record to it. I need the authentic experience. But whenever I'm writing, I have that up on my iPad. Hello? I blinked and the woods surrounding the mansion came into view. I could hear the sounds of insects and other nightlife around me, but no sign of whatever this presence was that I was feeling. It was still there. I just couldn't see it. Is someone there? Looking around, I found that the forest twisted and turned as I took each step. It was unnatural. That's what comes from being asleep. Or so I figured. There was a familiar place that I stumbled upon, and I wandered close towards the water's surface. Once upon a time I was standing there considering to jump in and hoped that I'd drown, but now I wanted anything but. My foot landed on something hard and round, buried in fallen leaves, and automatically I picked it up, rolling it over in hand. The bottle containing what was essentially poison to anyone that decided to inject themselves with it. I'm still pissed at the story for introducing that bottle, having every character in the entire story understand with excruciating detail exactly what it was and what it does, but never actually saying to the audience what it does for like several more days. Literally not even telling us what it was called. Like Dave reads it without us hearing what he read. It's so fucking annoying. With it in hand, I continued towards the water and looked down at the surface. What I expected to see was my own reflection staring back at me, or even nothing at all. But instead I saw someone else staring back at me. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, this one.
From the water's glassy surface, he rose, floating right out slowly, and then towards me. Taking a few steps back, he came to rest, floating slightly above the ground before me. They keep not describing the size of this character. I'm like, intuitively, like you would assume everyone's like human shaped, but specifically it's a rat. So like, is it a little Thanatos?
I just don't care. Like
I just don't know what I'm imagining each time that they show up.
My brain only has enough room. My heart only has enough room for one grimdark edgelord rat. Okay, so I just can't do another. I'm sorry, Password. You've hit your limit.
It's very funny to imagine a tiny scythe.
It's very indulgent.
I think it's very subtle, but I think this character might represent death.
Yeah. This game represents my death.
Just literally having it this late into a game about a death game starring a character named Thanatos that is all about trying to survive all these timelines.
Imagine
at the 11th hour they add a character with a scythe.
Imagine how much more interesting this whole little tangent with Roswell and stuff would be if, I know we're not in Roswell's perspective right now, but imagine if we got a little bit of Roswell's perspective, but it just didn't tell us who was talking for throughout the whole route, right? Every once in a while, Dave would go to bed and then we would be in someone else's perspective and it would be I spoke with Thanatos, but then Thanatos only ever responds yes, master, I will do that, master. Think about how much more tension would be built doing that rather than giving us a day of playing as Roswell, introducing this weird rat character just so that you can put it into Dave's story. Imagine if we met this character 17 days ago in the game. It would,
they blew the entire Roswell premise so hard.
Yeah.
So little came of it. We were like, oh my god, here it comes. So dude, we're gonna be Roswell for the rest of the game now? Is this gonna reveal everything? And also it's gonna be and Roswell's the real protagonist or some wild shit's gonna happen. It's true ending shit. And then it's literally just amounts to Roswell causes another bad end real quick. That's similar-ish to the other bad ends.
That is actually what happened. Yeah.
There was 3 hours of logistical talk and boring stuff that didn't actually reveal anything and was just wasting our time. And then he just also got Dave killed in the woods again. Or he died in the woods or something. Which the most that does is reveal that somehow at this point Dave is maybe even experiencing Roswell's memories on some level, and or some of these people are remembering timelines where they themselves died even, which breaks the vault rules because now we're going past those or something. But it was not time well spent. And it seems to not understand that having such a radical format shift implies that something grander is happening. When the grand total of what happened there was as uninteresting as possible.
Correct.
It was not worthy of a perspective shift at all. And that was just very disappointing. And now we just have a Joker rat, which has a scythe. And
another Joker rat with a scythe.
Yeah. And I just stare at the scythe and I just beg for the comparative subtlety of Jenna's grandma calling them on the radio. And how that was an interesting moment.
Yeah.
That wasn't explained in excruciating detail for 3 hours afterwards, so that we know exactly what it was supposed to mean and so on.
I really like password time because it gives me time to go through my YouTube uploads and make thumbnails and upload them and stuff. And it's really good. It's great.
What you're hearing, audience, is cope. He needs to cope with what's happening to him. We all have our ways of grieving.
The Password Let's Play is just a nature documentary where you slowly get to watch me lose my mind.
Yeah, I've stolen a year of Toaster's life, like in the Halloween tree.
I have done a lot in this time, is what I tell myself. I've been very productive.
Well, this is a surprise. It feels like I haven't seen your senior in a lifetime. So what the fuck is its accent? Wait. I guess it's phonetic Australian. This is how FIFO is written.
I don't know. I have nothing
gets.
to say about that. I don't know.
Well, I can't do a fucking Australian accent. I can't. Have we met?
Shrimp on the Barbie, am I right, fellas?
It didn't speak with this accent last time, did it?
No. It did not. It didn't. You're right. That is correct. I didn't even think about that, but that is true. It did not speak with this accent last time. That's deeply funny. That's deeply funny.
Are all the rats putting on voices for Dave?
I don't know.
Or is it a mistake?
Why would it? My question is just why would they? Like, why can't Thanatos? Like, what does Thanatos hide by just speaking in his regular voice?
Makes you just want to pull out the fucking Tracer voice or something. Well, this is a surprise. Feels like I haven't seen you in a lifetime, Dave. Have we met? Have we met, he says, as if I'm a complete stranger.
I want to die is what is going on in my life right now. In case the audience is wondering.
It is doing a bit. Why? Like, I'm like, I was like,
it's weird to get this much characterization for a character that just suddenly shows up, like as if it's playing into a joke that we would understand from his personality, but instead it just comes off as incomprehensible.
It's just incomprehensible, yeah. Also, I immediately started doing like the fucking, I immediately was turning into the fucking, the titty mouse from the Nostalgia Critic The Wall review.
It's, yeah, it's like definitely... Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. This is weird. This game is unbearably cringe to the point that it physically hurts me. I don't know what it's going for. It's going for something.
I've played a lot of furry visual novels that are anime inspired, and they're overly goofy and can't just have anyone be normal for a second. And then also just the ones that are from Japan that also are written like that, but also poorly translated on top of that. So I've seen the patterns before.
Yeah.
This is a weird time to do it this far into the stakes.
Very correct.
It's hard to juggle with the game where Dave is so depressed. He's thinking about like plunging himself off of cliffs and so on, and he hasn't cried since his dad died. And also everyone's going to get murdered tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's also like people like got mad at me for not clocking Dave's depression and taking it seriously and so on when he was like being weirdly grimdark in those early episodes. And my response to that is like the writing is so incomprehensible that they can't characterize him as being depressed because it does shit like this.
As
like
someone
the
who
tone is so weird.
Like, I have suffered and experienced literal clinical depression. I'm on antidepressants. Like, I know what it's like to be depressed. I know how to see the symptoms. And it's different for everyone. But, like, no, Dave's just poorly written. Stop coping with this bad story. It just sucks. Like, that's all it is. There's nothing crazy to it.
All right, I'll drop the accent. How's that? Still nothing. What is this bit? All right. What about now? Wait, Thanatos?
Sure.
That's what he sounds like.
Sure, if you want. You look so, so what? Dead? So it is Thanatos.
I don't get it.
So, no, I did think this pretty quickly where I was like, it's just another rat. It just looks like Thanatos. I'm like, is this Thanatos Prime? Is this the real rat or something?
Yeah,
before a robot?
But also what? And why is he big?
I don't know if he's big or not. They won't explain whether or not he's
they went out of
anthro-sized.
They went out of their way to give Thanatos a little talk box, so you have to assume that there's consistent design in this game, Keith. You have to assume that.
What am I assuming? I actually can't follow.
Thanatos has a little TV box whenever he appears on screen to signify that he's small. That he's below everyone else.
The window, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that would suggest that he's full size. That's upsetting to think about.
Yes.
The Thanatos was just a whole person originally.
You want to know what's really interesting? Is that there's a gigantic rat with a fucking scythe on the grounds when fucking Benson was like, no guns. He's not real. How is he not real? He's a big ass. No, he's going to be real.
Maybe,
how would he talk to us in our dreams? I don't get it.
I'm just saying Thanatos, this Thanatos has never appeared in reality yet.
Sure.
Roswell sees him as visions, and then now we're seeing him in our sleep.
Yes, but what I'm saying is ultimately there is some degree of realness to the, or I guess like realness to the presence of this rat because he is existing and communicating between these two people in dream states. So is he just a dream entity that exists in the nebula of the universe? Because this is an actual fully supernatural element, if that's the case.
Yeah, no, I think he's fully supernatural. I think he's like the original Thanatos that exists in some form that I don't think robot Thanatos knows about. I think this would be a surprise to your Thanatos that this Thanatos exists too. And it's just some weirdness.
I wonder.
Let's see. So, what? Dead? I was going to go with big or fleshy or spooky or anything other than dead, given you're a robot, right? Guess you've got me there. What are you doing awake, though? I'm not. I'm sleeping. Sure you are. I have to be. I went to bed after, like, a bunch of stuff happened. That's not the logical conclusion.
Also just doesn't line up with everything we know about the game, which is that Dave sleeps usually when nothing is happening all the time. Nothing has to happen to make Dave sleep.
It's a weird description as opposed to saying just like, I went to bed. I know I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Weird if I'm not. But it's like, after like a bunch of stuff happened. What's that sentence? Wanna run it past me? Not particularly. You were there. A long time ago, maybe. Oh, this is future Thanatos, not past Thanatos. It's
He
the
grew up.
Omni Thanatos that has experienced every timeline or something and became
But we learned that
supernatural.
time travel doesn't actually work.
Well, he loops for it by uploading,
Yes.
sending the programming to the timelines.
No, but what we know is that every timeline is literally linearly stacked onto each other. So presumably the timelines that exist in the future can't communicate with the past. It's just always retroactive thinking because Thanatos loops.
Right.
So this
that does raise a question how any kind of like higher consciousness super Thanatos would be
able to
reaching
speak back to the past.
Yeah,
Yes.
because the data is sent forward into the Futurama loops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, because even our Thanatos is like, yeah, this timeline hasn't happened yet and stuff like that, which means that they never know what happened. They don't know stuff in the future. Whereas the implication in 999 is that all the timelines are happening simultaneously somehow.
Yes.
And so you can... It's technically the first time anything's happened while simultaneously also having memories from all the timelines of things going bad, and both are true.
Yep.
Which makes sense because, like, they literally call out superposition several times throughout the series.
Yes,
By
yeah,
just
exactly.
explaining Schrodinger's cat to you, which I think might be misexplained in the game, but it's there at least.
Yep.
So it really is you? Like, Thanatos? For all you know, I could just be something you made up in your dream. Some strange thing going on from messing with the vault too many times. Twice. You've used it twice. Whoops, forgot to write a game where Dave uses the vault a lot despite it being the premise of the game and the title of the game. Whoopsie doodle. You sure did save your route love interest and then Benson and Orlando, and then 20 days happened after that where you never used the vault.
Where nothing happened.
I can't believe how hard they forgot the premise of the game and just stopped doing it.
I think...
Like, it was pretty ambitious to have every single love interest die on the same day across all the timelines and write all of those. But then they just stopped being ambitious and never did that again.
Yeah.
It's actually insane to me to find out, like, okay, everyone experiences Orlando and Benson. And then as far as I know, the only other vault things that happen for the rest of the game are Massacre and Werewolf. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh. And if you're in either of those people's route, then that route doesn't happen also. Ugh. Like how I remembered things I shouldn't, like what Roswell was going to do and stuff.
Oh my God, Dave. I can't believe we're still learning about how this works. I can't believe we're still at the part where Dave is like, wait, I have powers? I don't get it. I don't think anyone saw that coming, he says, after already explaining to us that this is exactly what would happen.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw that coming, but here we are.
Congratulations. Actually, Toaster and Keith saw it coming from 27,000 miles away because it's the plot of the fucking game.
Where is here, anyway? Why am I dreaming of the woods? It is excruciating to watch something just recreate the plot of something like 999 or Zero Escape, or Virtue's Last Reward, I mean, because it already happens in slow motion in those games, but you're like, you are spending the entire game slowly just revealing that the end point that is just the thing that anyone that knows what you're basing this on assumed as the basic premise to begin with. So you're like, oh, it's like a slasher film taking 90 minutes to reveal that it's got a killer in it. You're like, what? That's why I'm here. Where is here anyway? Why am I dreaming of the woods? Want to go somewhere different? Immediately things went black. I caught the faint flash around Thanatos' eyes before it went dark, and I was floating for all of a second before we touched down again. How's this? A bit more fitting for a god of death, I'd say. My eyes wandered down to the grave we were in front of, one I was all too familiar with. No, Thanatos, this isn't what I preferred. I did not prefer going to a graveyard. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you have like a cafe, you fuck? Why here specifically?
Don't want to talk to dear old dad.
I could feel my face scrunching up, conflicted.
Could always go somewhere else if you want. Doesn't bother me any.
I can't wait for 12 more of this scene. Why are we even meeting? I should be resting or just something.
I swear to God, if he mentions anything, I'm just calling this out ahead of time. If he's like, where are the medals, Dave? I'm going to be like, I hate this video game.
Capital just lowercase something. Yeah, you gotta pick one. You gotta pick one of those. You can't just do both versions. I'm not 100% sure what's grammatically correct when ellipses are already fucky to begin with to include, and it's a stylistic choice. But you can't just go back and forth on whether or not you capitalize what comes afterwards.
What do you think happened, Dave? What do you think really happened when you intercepted Roswell?
I don't understand.
What do you think happened in order for you to remember that? What do you think it means?
I don't know, it just came to me.
How many times do you need the plot explained to you? You stupid fuck! You stupid fuck! I'm gonna lose my mind.
You died.
I'm sorry?
You were meant to die. You broke the rules.
I didn't do anything.
Let's recap. When you survive a traumatic event, you pass down memories of it through your genetic memory.
Right? Then the Vol lets you do the thing with them. Sorry, I just caught... Okay. It's having an aftershock moment of catching up once again with the fact that, like, it's just the premise of Zero Escape, but, like, can I copy your homework? Can I copy your homework? No. Yeah, but change something so that it doesn't look the same. And the change is just you have to witness other people having traumatic events instead of traumatic events yourself, because you have to survive to pass down the memories for some reason, like your Altair. And
even though you die at the end of your life anyway, no matter what.
Yeah. But like it's like that's how it's somehow some level of survival has to happen for some amount of time and to record it or something, which is so messy and convoluted compared to the thing it's based on, which is just that in Password in 999 people die traumatic horrible things, and that aftershock echoes through the timelines, and you can eventually pick up on it if you're an Esper via other timelines via like this conditioning. And it was based on literally just sending rats through an impossible rat maze where they would die horribly until eventually one of them would, like, on instinct go the right way because of all the timelines where it died.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird. That's weird pseudoscience, strange premise, but it's so much more legible. Like, holy shit.
Right, and then the vault lets you do the thing with them. The more traumatic, the more vivid the memory, but you still need to survive. For how long? What do you mean? Like, how long do I need to survive after the traumatic event for me to still pass it on? Are we doing this?
Why are we doing the logistics of this now? Because the game, like, you can't. Okay. I mean, I guess he's just trying to explain away the weird plot hole he just wrote. So
He flinched, not expecting my question, apparently. Let's have a look, shall we? Once again, we were thrown into the dark, but it wasn't long before things came back into view. This is inherently a gap in the story that that needs to be addressed, because we have all these bad ends where we like we have like the werewolf bad end, for example, where we somehow pass on the memory, right?
correct.
But don't we get killed by Memphis in that timeline anyway? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, we don't know, because I don't think that I don't remember if the story keeps going exactly, but I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, like, you think that most of the bad ends would still put us at risk of dying again. So, like, what is the exact dumb time window where we need to survive just long enough for the window to happen? Once again, we're thrown into the dark, but it wasn't long before things came back into view. I knew where we were immediately. Thanatos held a finger up to his mouth, indicating for me to stay quiet as the other Dave yawned and pulled out his phone.
I thought normally Dave's dreams were he inhabited his own body, so this is also stylistically different.
Yeah, we're currently getting Christmas Miracled.
Yeah, we are. Has he ever been shown to see himself like this, though? I don't think he has.
Dave has never seen himself yet.
Yeah.
We only saw Dave as Roswell.
So, Keith, did you know that I hate this game? It's bad. It sucks. All right, whatever. That's fine.
Damn. He started to flick through whatever was happening before he decided to hit dial. Flick through whatever was happening before he did whatever. I missed my bus, I think.
Who are you talking to, Dave?
He's calling Dean, because he calls Dean to say he missed the bus, then he gets hit by a car. How is this helpful? How is this traumatic? This version of you can't hear us, but trust me, you'll want to see what happens next. I don't know. I was napping, I think, but all three of us looked in the direction of a sudden screech. A car was coming down the road really fast, and how it was driving felt off. Do you remember this, Dave? This dream you had right before you messed with the timeline? The other Dave wasn't moving, seemingly entranced by the car coming right towards him.
He was stupid.
He was...
Why didn't he move out of the way? Is he stupid?
God damn it. I can tell you for a fact this wasn't a dream. Just watch. Watch in excruciating detail as you are gored by this car. I watched as I was caught by the car and my phone dropped out of my hand as the car collided into a telephone pole. With me sandwiched in between.
Imagine having a huge climactic moment like this and just not spell checking
Just not spell checking it.
Yeah.
My phone went and dropped out of my hand.
It's just, I was caught by the car as the car collided into a telephone pole with me sandwiched in between. Okay.
What? It's just... It's bad language. It feels like weirdly passive language. It doesn't feel like a cool, like a big, crazy, impactful, crazy scenes happening right now. It has the typo. But also, like, you were caught by the car. You dropped the phone. The emphasis is on dropping the phone.
Yeah.
A detail that you would never even register in the scene of someone being run over by a car.
Yeah.
He's also caught against a telephone pole somehow when the scene is about a bus stop.
Yes.
That he's probably sitting in. Where there would not be a telephone pole. There are trees in the scene that you've used since the beginning of the game, so you could have said something like that. There's a picket fence. tree, wall. There's so many things here. It doesn't make much sense for there to be a telephone pole here. You're not getting like hereditary.
Yeah.
Just a real. It's good to analyze a little bit because it's like it's noteworthy that the like obviously the macro choices in the writing are nightmarish, but on the small scale they don't work either. This is this is akin to like the Memphis action scene where you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
What violence occurred? I can't tell what he's describing in the scene for some reason. Like he's describing it almost like dreamlike with how vaguely and strangely it's described. It's like there's so little punch whenever big things happen, and it's just whoops.
You know what really irritates me? When you go to upload a video on YouTube and you have to wait for the thumbnail to fully upload before you can submit the ad classification for it. What's going on in password? Sorry, it didn't catch my attention.
Now tell me, Dave, what do you think happens next? Thanatos, do I watch? The Dave that was struck was slumped over the car, but seemed to still be alive. He looked to the phone on the ground before he coughed up some blood trying to call out to whomever he called, but passed out soon after. Call out to whomever he called. Just a clumsy way of saying it when you're talking about like the person on his phone. Is he? In a couple of minutes. Yes. Dead. But what does showing me this mean? Turns out you don't need to live a full life to pass on your trauma. Just long enough to send something. So I could have prevented this? Let's take another example.
But what causes the sending, man?
Yeah, it's really confusing. It's confusing in particular because it really, 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 really seemed like the premise of Password was that the vault works when you're in the mansion.
Yes, correct.
So how is Dave getting visions from the vault about deaths
outside of the mansion?
Yeah. Like
yeah.
Right now the story is highlighting it as like a rule break about, or a rule clarification about how long you have to live for the memory to send, which is a very short amount of time apparently. So it's functionally just the same thing as being able to send memories of your own death.
I mean, is it a short amount of time though? Because he manages to come back from the place and then he presumably is able to have conversations about shit. And like, that's what makes this any different than surviving for like a few days after or fucking what's his name kills him or like,
well,
what,
he's saying this guy got hit by the car and then coughed up blood and passed out and will be dead in a few minutes.
Yeah.
And that was apparently long enough to send the memory out. So I'm saying, like, apparently it's a very short amount of time to the point where it functionally might as well just be, you just have memories when you die, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying is that, like, what makes this actually different than, like, any time that fucking Memphis has killed us before? Like, I don't, you just can't send memories when you get shot by a bullet because it's too fast? Like, I don't... What makes this any different than suffocating while you're choking on smoke inhalation?
But yeah, we're so fixated on this time window thing, like the plot of the story is, but we as the audience are like, the rule break here is that Dave is at a bus stop.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
And I presumably by this point the mansion disappeared, right? Because whenever they left the mansion, there was no record of the mansion ever fucking existing in that one super weird, absurd timeline where that happened. Remember that plot thread?
Yep, it's never been explained how the mansion just disappeared in that one timeline, and we'll never know probably. But like, what's driving me crazy is that like, it seemed like they were going to pains to make this airtight. Like, specifically, Dave's dad visited the mansion, then went home, then experienced the trauma of Dave dying, and then went back to the mansion. Like, he went to the mansion both before and after Dave's death, which is what enables the possibility of him transmitting to himself to give himself a password to then know that he can sacrifice himself to save Dave outside of the mansion. That was the level of convolution they had to set up to make it so Dave's dad's death could be tied to the vault. But now Dave just is like unrelatedly dying. He's just unrelatedly dying at a bus stop and sending memories to himself somehow. And you're like, What?
I don't really remember how Dave dies in his dad's trauma life either.
I think he gets killed by the dragons.
Yeah, but like, it
Like
was it just a
drive-by.
drive-by? Yeah. Okay.
Because that's why because whatever I don't know if it was explained explicitly. I don't remember if we remember the memory because it's Dave's dad's memory to react to. But he stands up because he dies confronting the dragon mafia in Memphis the day that Dave was supposed to die.
Yeah.
And so
I remember
somehow
that part.
So that must have somehow been how he was going to die. So that mostly follows the rules that mess with Dave's dad. But this breaks so many rules, and they're only talking about one of them, and that's just a mess. You're like, what? Do you not understand that you're breaking other rules in your thing that's literally about explaining rules and breaking down, like, it's almost like a plot, like it's almost like this weird need to like retcon a plot contrivance and like explain something that probably came up in a fan complaint or something, but its explanation only breaks new rules.
Yeah.
This time I felt like I was pushed backwards in a chair. Here will do. Not you specifically, but this might illuminate what I'm getting at. What? Before I could take stock of the room, Thanatos pointed out Dad rocking back and forth in the chair nearby. He looked freshly showered but shaken. I don't want to see my dad die. You won't. I don't understand.
I couldn't. He was just... And...
He was shaking, and when I made a move to see what was wrong, Thanatos didn't even bother to stop me. Dad? I placed my hand on his shoulder, but it just passed through, as if I was a ghost. I hate that, by the way.
Yeah.
This comes up enough in stuff, but I hate the dumb, like, oh, I'm a hologram approach to, like, visions, like memories.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fake dream. It's one thing for Dad not to react or acknowledge, but the idea that you pass through him like a hologram, I'm like, what? No. Have you ever had a dream where that happens? It's not how dreams work. Why does it have to be such a hard science simulation in your fake your fake nonsense dream?
Yeah.
It's not even a password thing. I hate everything that does that. It happens a lot in fiction, and I'm like, what? No.
No, I did the right thing. I had to do it. But he... And...
He was shaking more. If I didn't know better, he was beyond crying, but I could still see the faint red stains in his fur. Blood. Dear old Dad here.
Oh, faint red stains. Blood. Wow.
Whoa.
Whoa. I get it now. Thanks for explaining.
Dear old Dad here has just witnessed something terrible. I'm sure you can piece together what that was. So he's about to...
How is Dave remembering this if Dave is dead?
Magic. I don't see these visions as being part of the rules. I see it as Thanatos this version of Thanatos being able to just visit any memory he has access to. And that's why we see ourselves and so on. It's not from Dave's perspective or his dad's perspective. We are just getting Miracle of Christmas right now. The problem being that this is so powerful that this Thanatos can literally just objectively show us any memory in all of everything that's ever happened in every timeline. Now that we don't ever have to deal with the ambiguity of visions ever again, because he can just objectively show us the exact thing that happened. So that's a problem to introduce to your story, especially when you're doing it to address others, what the rules are that you're now disregarding in the act of doing this. That's the problem. That's the deeper issue of this whole scene, is that we're hand-wringing over the rules of what's happened so far, and in the process of explaining that, we're introducing such a powerful rule break that entire concept's irrelevant. And if they disregard this to go back to the old system, that's just frustrating in its own way.
Correct.
What? Kill himself? No, but this is what your dad suffered like after you were killed by Memphis for, let's say, a fair while. How long? Doesn't matter. How long did Dad suffer like this, Thanatos? I need an exact timer on how long it takes for you to get over my death. You're not convinced this is even real, so what's the point of telling you? If you must know, a year or two, maybe. One day he just sort of stopped feeling. Became a lot more cold and quiet. That's known as when suffering has ended. What do you mean? What are you saying to me? I don't understand. That's awful. He put Memphis out of commission long enough that it was worth it to some, though he was never the same again. Just as well, because it showed him clearly enough what needed to happen when he used the vault to save your life. How did he put Memphis out of commission? You can't just drop that line. The game keeps saying that he's both politically and physically invulnerable. So how did he put Memphis out of commission? What does that mean? At the cost of his own. Look at the man in that chair and tell me that he's living, Dave. He has vitals, but is that really alive?
Yes. He is alive, you idiot. What are you talking about? Shut the fuck up. Shut up. I'm gonna lose my mind.
I'm just confused because since when does Thanatos care? Like, he's doing an appeal to empathy? Like,
Yeah.
that kind of approach? I'm like, that's not... This is either a very different Thanatos or we just forgot what Thanatos talks like. Trust me, he's dead. Remember when this character was introduced with like a Cockney accent?
Yeah.
This time he snapped his fingers, and I was pulled forward violently, then brought to my knees on the soft ground. Which brings us back to here. It was very polite of Thanatos to give us an objective answer to that ethical dilemma, like the entire philosophical concept of whether or not that version of David counts as living. No, fuck you, he's dead. Shut up. Stop thinking about it. Which brings us back to here. Live a short life after trauma and you'll get a glimpse here and there, potentially. Live a long time and you'll see more. More traumatic, more details. Why are you telling me this? Because we've hit the critical point in where we test how well you've been paying attention.
I
Who's
haven't been.
seeing
I'm gonna
the
fail this
most
quest.
Visions? Roswell? Very good. Now, why? Because he's dying? And the closer he is to dying, the more vivid the visions are, but only while he's still alive. Because dead people don't have visions.
Is that how it works?
That what so he's suffering. You're making him suffer. He's making himself suffer, not me. So what? That makes it all right? What am I meant to do with this? When do you think you inherit these memories, Dave? Everything you've lived in a past life is, if not multiple past lives. When I use the vault? Roswell got them before using the vault. But when, though? Doesn't matter. Point is, how does it not matter?
Wait.
It's the whole topic you're
Yeah.
introducing.
Incorrect. Thank you.
Massive rule break. That's also the point of me talking to you. And I'm literally asking you how you get the visions. And then I'm like, how? And it doesn't matter. What? That's we're talking, that's the topic that you introduced. Point is, take the vault out of the equation now. You don't need it. Well, it'd help, but you can do the thing without it, as annoying as it is. So I need to somehow remember without using the vault? If time wasn't up, I'd go into details, but basically. Time's up, really? Yep. Got a game of poker I need to play for something. Make up some convenient excuse for yourself as to why you're waking up now. Why would you need an excuse to wake up from sleep? The fuck are you talking about? Also, oh, we had a limited time. I'm so glad you wasted some of it being like, would you like to go to the Sims house? Would you like to go to the Jelly Bean factory? What if we talked at Mount Rushmore? Huh? As sure as my eyes opened. And sure enough, my eyes opened, revealing to me the room I'd fallen asleep in. From what I could see of the light filtering in from the window, I'd slept the whole night away. More importantly, though, no one had woken me up. There'd been no developments as far as getting off the mountain. I skipped my shower, not wanting to risk getting caught out just in case the worst happened.
Yeah.
I can't take a 2-minute shower because I might get caught unawares after my 8-hour sleep. The fuck are you talking about? You can't just say that with a straight face. I didn't get dressed because I didn't want to get caught unawares. Just dick flapping in the breeze. Fucking the evil jackrabbit might show up at any second. Heading downstairs was the priority to find out where we were at, and it served as a nice distraction from the dream I'd had. Guys?
Dave, you're up! You look like you've seen a ghost.
My eyes narrowed, but I chose to say nothing, looking expectantly at Roswell instead.
How'd you sleep?
It could have been better, but I feel rested at least. No news?
No news yet.
Coffee?
I think Orlando made some earlier. He hasn't slept though, so don't go expecting much.
Coffee instead of tea?
I made an educated guess and said that when you woke up, you're going to need it. He didn't fight that point once I mentioned your name.
It's impossible to make both coffee and tea. There are mutually exclusive choices. They're routes, the coffee route and the tea route. You don't even remember the first choice in this game. It was coffee or tea. You have to go back and play the route tea. That's because he's a good friend.
Shall I let you get to it? Thanatos and I have been running hypotheticals for the past hour, but we haven't made any progress. He says, smiling. Hey, it's better that we have options than have run dry already. Yeah, well, we still have some planning to do. This is all relatively fresh for me, so we'll have to go see where things go. Ah, right, about that. What? Dave, you understand how things have been working now, right?
Yeah, I had someone explain it to me last night anyway.
I was visited by the plot fairy.
Yeah, the plot fairy explained to me that we're bored of being passwords, so we're just 999 now.
Yeah, and also it's the fifth time it's been explained to me, but I got it finally.
Yeah, but just now we got bored with the original rules. Now it's just explicitly these characters are espers and they can sense their own deaths now. So it's just 999. We gave them on passwords completely, and also are directly contradicting the original rule set, which is famously how mystery stories are written. So, thumbs up to all the people that called this the best furry mystery ever written.
Best and only are often synonyms, I have found.
You know, Echo's a mystery novel. It's not, but it has a mystery at its core that is developed and elaborated on and has stakes and tensions and reveals and surprises.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun. It's just even when that itself is just a direct inspiration from Night in the Woods and what happened to Casey. That question being there at the beginning. Let's see.
I have a headache. Do you ever have headaches? Do you ever have headaches? Yeah. I don't know, just asking questions.
Vaguely.
Who?
Just asking if people remember what headaches are. Doesn't matter. Either way, I get it.
Sure. Anyway, I was thinking we kind of have a problem with that. If we can remember things when they're really important, it's fine. But if we can preempt things, then we don't really have a level of control.
I don't get it. Well, that was fast. Lost
Thank
already.
you, Dave. Please explain it to us, the audience, who are just as confused as you are. He's still baffled how you caught him yesterday morning. No one else is, though. Literally no one else is baffled by that.
I'm not.
That sounded horrible.
Good.
God. Oh. What's wrong with not having a level of control?
The problem is that our level of control comes from being able to have variance in the timeline, that our choices can still lead us down wildly different paths.
Something that you removed when you knew about that past iteration without interacting with me.
By doing what I can do, but, well,
So what? If it's a problem, then just tell me not to do it next time, or Roswell can just make sure he's not there to be caught.
See, that could work, but then we're competing against one another. Not to mention, this is the furthest we've gotten. See, he's saying again that the timelines aren't equal.
Yeah.
They're not. They're linear.
They're stacking like a time lasagna.
I think
This
of
is
it
the
more like
top
one
of
of those little
lasagna.
fireworks that looks like poop, like a poop snake firework. You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like that. Is everyone following me on this?
I love the poop snake firework. It's funny. So, what? Are you expecting me to just not do it again? I don't even know how I did it the first time.
there's another option, but Thanatos isn't going to like it.
Excuse me.
We make a save right here, like you would in a video game.
I don't get it.
Was that an option
Dave?
the whole time?
Dave, what do you mean you don't get it?
He's
Dave,
dumb.
Dave,
Keith.
he means
He's
go.
dumb.
He means go to the vault. That's what always triggers the ability for passwords to exist. That's the whole premise of the game. I swear to God. Also, the dilemma of two competing time loopers was compelling in like all you need is kill.
Yeah, correct.
It's not.
Remember
here.
better media than
Yeah.
this?
Like,
yeah.
when somebody else starts looping in addition to your looping and you're like trapped in each other's loops and so on, like that's interesting in that story.
Yes.
Here, it's being suddenly proposed as a dilemma, even though they've known that each other were getting the visions for like the last 20 days.
Yes, correct.
Or at the very least, Roswell knew he was getting the visions and then knew that we were also getting the visions. So this is not a new dilemma. It's like the time they suddenly remembered to investigate Benson's death 2 weeks after it happened. And then learned nothing, but they're like, dang, we forgot to investigate Benson's death, I guess.
If this is the furthest we've gotten, and you're at the point that you're able to do what I can do, we should take the gamble and make it that this is how things go from now on.
Imagine if we did this on day 5. And like that was the plot of the game, was that you use the vault to do stuff, and choices branch off from that.
Imagine a character being proactive.
Yeah, and how are you gonna do that?
Hey Thanatos, you won't mind erasing your memory for me? Would you? Of like the last day or so?
Are you insane?
Yes.
Nope, but it'd work in theory, wouldn't it?
You would have no way of knowing what was going to happen with Dave springing this one on us moving forward. It's risky. If this whole thing doesn't work out, then we're screwed.
Maybe it's the best we not mess with it?
Ultimately, it'll be up to Thanatos to follow through with it. I trust his judgment, though I voiced what I want.
This is still a lot to process before coffee, so sure, what you say goes. I need to go find out where the others are.
Do you? Can you just, like, leave? What if he left? Haas and Tyson are asleep, I think, in the side room over there. Uh-oh, Dave has competition. Big cat sleeping with top dog or whatever. Benson is keeping watch while Sal rests. But Sal is upstairs. Orlando's in the kitchen.
And there's been nothing? No Dean or Oswin?
Not yet.
Best of luck. I'm gonna go track down a dragon in the stated location that they were said to be in. It wasn't hard. Even if I hadn't been told exactly where he was, the worried mumbling gave him away.
Dave?
Yep, just me. I heard there was coffee. A mug was quickly passed over to me and Orlando was pacing around the kitchen.
You stink. Why haven't you taken a shower?
How much sleep have you had exactly?
Me? Sleep?
Yes, you. Have you had any?
Of course.
Roswell says otherwise.
Okay, maybe... No. Not even a little bit.
I'd say you maybe should try, but who knows if you've missed your shot at that.
Did something happen?
No, at least not according to Roswell or Thanatos. I've only just gotten up myself.
Oh, good.
Still no idea what happened with Osmond or Dean, though? I'd asked Roswell, but at this point I was just hoping for a different answer. I took a big gulp of coffee to try and get my head straight. No sense in asking the same questions over and over, now that I was aware I was doing it. What? No sense in asking the same questions over and over now that I was aware I was doing it. That's a weird clarification to make after you just asked the same question again and are waiting for the answer to come for the same question.
Yeah, Dave's made a whole character out of just repeating the same question, and it's taken him this whole time and multiple follow-up questions to realize that he's just an annoying person.
It's just weird. There's like no sense in asking the same questions over and over now that I'm aware of doing it. Is a thing you would say to not ask the question?
Correct.
But he's currently asking the question. That's the point.
Yes.
Is he's currently asking the question again.
No, that's kind of the problem though, right? There shouldn't have been any reason why Dean wouldn't come back if he was able.
Which means he wasn't able.
We don't know that.
I mean...
I wish we did. I wish that was the case.
Doesn't look good.
So what now? Or so what? Now that it's light, we go after him?
That's the worst possible idea you could come up with. That's the worst possible idea you could come up with. Even before coffee.
Well, yeah, but... Sal's hand on my shoulder made me jump, spinning to see him there in a daze. Not resting?
Resting's only going to do so much.
We were faced with the highest, scariest stakes so far, so we all tried to sleep. He helped himself to a cup of coffee and wandered over to the pantry to look for something to eat.
Did you want me to make you something?
I'll be fine, probably. It's just important to eat something.
Anything good left?
There's bread.
Whoa! Move. I'll make you something. Been watching a lot of cooking Haru lately, and you can just do you can do so much with just bread and some eggs. Sal wandered back over to me as Orlando. That would be my background noise if I was multitasking. Sal wandered back over to me as Orlando got to work whipping something up. The moment I saw the eggs come out, I recognized the makings of pancake batter. I thought he was actually
fucking pancakes again. Are you fucking kidding?
I thought he was gonna do something with eggs and bread, like I said. Pancakes.
Remember the funny joke about pancakes where Sal couldn't make a pancake without burning the house down? Haha.
We've come
It's
so
so
far.
funny.
That was like in 2023.
Don't remind me.
What I'd really like about now is a decent waffle. What I'd really like about now is a decent waffle. If Roswell hadn't finished off the maple syrup, I'd feel like I was missing out. They not have a waffle iron? It feels like a thing they'd have. How different is the composition of a pancake versus a waffle? Huh. I feel like there's no reason they can't make a waffle. What?
Isn't that more of a dessert anyway? Yeah, I don't fucking know.
I mean, to be clear, he called it a desert thing.
Oh, he did call it a desert thing.
Uh-huh.
We also don't have ice cream. Remember how they eat 3 things and only 3 things?
I don't understand.
If we're
Why-
talking dessert for breakfast, why not chocolate cake?
Why is pancake breakfast but waffle is dessert? What are waffles made of? Aren't they just the same thing practically? Like really
Yeah.
similar? Like I don't know what you'd put differently to make a waffle. I don't remember, but it wouldn't be dessert somehow. We're not having chocolate cake or dessert waffles. Pumpkin bread? If there's any left, though Tyson might have beaten you to it. That has to be bad by now, right?
If Dave can have what is effectively cake for breakfast, why can't I?
Is he? When was that established?
Pancakes are cake, apparently.
Don't get any of these people. Their quirky jokes do not land.
Yeah, I can't believe we're getting this right now.
Uh-huh. Quirky.
You can press control to skip it.
Delete.
Because yours is chocolate, probably. Keith won't even let me out of this event configuration when I beg for it. That's what's happening on this live game, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
He has the power. He could slam through this, and he's not doing it. He just gets off on the power trip.
If we change what rail the train is on now, that's unfair to all the other people it ran over already.
Gotcha. It's like a gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Like, we got it. If I start skipping now, why didn't I skip for the last 6 months?
I agree. That's fine. It's okay.
I don't see how that's really any different than what Orlando is making now. It has eggs, milk, flour. Sure, there's chocolate, but you could just use less sugar or something.
This is the worst sales pitch I've ever heard.
I don't think anyone in this game understands what food is.
No.
Fine, then what's the difference between chocolate and Pop-Tarts?
What?
What?
What is this equivalence?
Roswell, no one No one thinks Pop-Tarts are a healthy breakfast. I have Pop-Tarts in the mid-afternoon when I want a dumb snack. I don't wake up and have Pop-Tarts and coffee.
They do both have frosting.
They don't necessarily. You
What?
can get non-frosted versions of both of those things.
But he also is not paying attention because he didn't say cake. He said chocolate.
That is true.
He didn't say cake. What's the difference between chocolate and Pop-Tarts? They both have frosting. Chocolate has frosting. What? You shouldn't be eating Pop-Tarts for breakfast either. They do sell them in breakfast section in the supermarket. Okay.
They don't sell chocolate in the breakfast section of the supermarket.
They're saying that they sell Pop-Tarts, but I'm like, oh, but also like, what's the breakfast section? I just
Cereals. There is a breakfast section. Cereals and
Yeah.
granola and
It's like-
oatmeal.
there's just garbage food in there.
Sure.
I don't. This point is weak. They will not survive the winter. You guys want pancakes or not?
I'm not going to say no if you're offering.
I just smiled
Okay.
and continued drinking my coffee. There's something off about how we were talking breakfast when Dean was somewhere out in the woods, possibly
No.
dead. Uh-huh.
This is actually the best way for you to talk to your friends when Dean isn't around.
Uh-huh.
You need to stop caring
Everyone's
about that
just
weirdo.
smiling and joking about how your friend's dead. Maybe we just wanted to ignore the dread that was hanging over us. I could feel it, even if the others weren't showing they were too. Maybe you should take your shower then, Dave. Where did Thanatos end up?
To go think about his choice. Then apparently check in on Benson.
What does that part mean? Checking on Benson? I should go check on him too.
Would you mind thanking him for me?
No worries, I'll be back soon. Thank for what? Okay. I left the three of them to get breakfast. I left the three of them to getting breakfast ready and wandered outside, the crisp mountain air feeling pleasant to breathe in. Benson was standing there looking thoughtful about something, though noticed me approach.
Good morning.
Hey, any news?
None yet. Though with more of you surfacing, it might be an idea to figure out what exactly we intend on doing next.
Well, going into the forest isn't a good idea.
While the circumstances paint that as correct, we may not have a choice.
Even after, Oswin and Dean not coming back?
I assure you that I am intending full well on going after Oswin, as I would have anyway once you were all safely off the mountain. Though understandably, Dean's lack of returning causes some problems.
Anything specific? Because we don't know where we're going. Where the exit is.
Should anyone else go in there, there's no telling if they were to make it back unharmed or suffer a worse fate.
Actually, there is telling. It's they either make it back unharmed or they suffer a worse fate.
That is the telling. That's the explicit telling, actually. Yes. Why do they keep splitting up? What's the point? You mean dying? How blunt I was seemed to make Benson pause, stroking his mustache. He's supposed to have a mustache.
If I may be so bold, you seem different this morning.
Sir, we haven't talked in like 3 days. Blame Thanatos.
Of course.
It's not so bad, but I looked behind me, wandering closer and whispering once I knew the coast was clear. I know about Oswin and Roswell.
What about them?
Oswin didn't tell you? It was his turn to check for anyone else listening in, and turned to me, once satisfied that we were in fact alone. This would be a great way to get Benson to leak information. What, he didn't tell you?
And then you just learned the thing that you never learned.
I was there with him the day at the hospital, not during the event, but there to pick him up and take him home. As for why he was at the hospital, yes, I know.
Who did Oswin fuck? And what's like her deal?
Like, how did they meet Oswin?
And like, just like, yeah.
I guess they just didn't keep. They were fine with Oswin taking the kid away and giving him to someone else.
Maybe she died. I don't remember
Maybe.
the details. I'm legitimately asking. I don't remember the details.
I don't think we were told that Roswell's mom died. But that, like, where is she then? Like,
yeah.
you think it would come up for sure, because otherwise, why was Roswell transplanted to a different family?
Yeah, I don't
nodded
know.
slowly, frowning. And this whole time,
This whole time, what? I've been playing a reluctant conspirator to some deluded whims of a terminal child.
that sounds rude, but I guess.
Thankfully not, as his uncle, for the most part, has been playing that role instead. Keeping one childish boy out of trouble is hard enough, let alone trying to handle both.
I don't understand what they're discussing right now. This whole time? What? Not to mention Thanatos.
The sooner I don't have to deal with the rat, the better. He's too much like his, I suppose, the term is master. Isn't it?
So, Benson also hates Roswell. I think I can see it. Maybe. They're both the worst characters.
Regardless, I believe our privacy is about to be ruined.
What makes you say that? He pointed past me to the door, Thanatos pressing his nose against the glass window. Ah, right.
I wouldn't be so lucky as to the reason he's here to speak with you, would I?
I don't know what that
wouldn't-
means.
What the fuck is that sentence?
Yeah, I, have
I
no
wouldn't
idea.
be so lucky as to the reason he is here is to speak with you, would I? That according to Roswell?
Bother.
I wandered over the door and opened it, Thanatos racing out the moment there was enough space to slip through.
Wrong voice.
What's going on out here?
Just talking with Benson. How's making your decision go? How'd making your decision go?
Decision? What decision? Roswell wants me to delete parts of my memory.
As in plural, not just the last day?
If it all goes well, then this whole branch goes. If I'm ever at risk of being put out of commission, I delete my memory. For now, there's no sense in doing it if I'm just going to be asking about the gap tomorrow.
Makes sense, I suppose.
And still haven't seen either Haas or Tyson, though.
Guess that's where I'm going next. Play nice with Benson.
I'll be nice. I'm always nice.
Should anything happen, I shall let you know, Dave.
I think I'm never going to read another visual novel in my life after this. I think I'm done with them. I think I'm just done with them. I think that I just don't need anymore.
The constant search for a new co-host continues.
Congratulations. We could play anything else.
First Stephanie dies, and then Toaster dies.
I am
Womp
just
womp.
never going to read another visual novel again. Has nothing to do with you. I mean, in my own life. Visual novels just don't exist anymore.
Oh, shame we had
no.
to cancel the Silver Case playthrough.
Yeah, that's an adventure game. It's okay. Yeah.
I wandered inside, finishing off my coffee and rolling the mug around in my hands. Tyson? Haas? You around anywhere today?
nearby? That's the word it said. Not today. Nothing. At least not at first. I heard movement upstairs and followed what I heard, hoping it was Tyson and a hoss.
All right, you've gotten it off. Now what?
I didn't think that far ahead. From what I could see, they'd managed to get the sword off from the suit of armor that was in the room, though now it was just laying on the ground between them, Tyson shrugging and Haas rolling his eyes. Am I interrupting something?
Oh, hey, Dave.
Hey.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. I was suddenly grabbed, the mug being knocked to the ground, and Tyson kissed me quickly, right there in front of Haas.
Why does he get a kiss, big dog?
Maybe because it's my fucking,
You can use the B word, Tyson.
he has before.
Yeah.
No! No! Why are you like this? Why is it written like this? Brother? Tyson put his arm around my shoulders and guided me forward until we were all standing around the sword. He means boyfriend, Ty, the word you said out loud to everyone earlier, and then Sal called you a rapist. Remember? I know that. Why'd you remove the sword anyway? In case we needed it. We do this in every time and then we never use it.
With Dean out of the picture for now and Benson worried about letting any of us just have guns, this seemed to be a nice enough distraction to pass the time when we couldn't sleep. Imagine having trouble sleeping in this narrative.
And you didn't just go for kitchen knives? Yeah, and deal with Orlando like he is right now? Making pancakes?
More like fretting and a bit all over the place.
Pretty sure he's making pancakes too. Sal and Roswell were downstairs with him as well. At least everyone's awake now. I spoke to Benson too. No change on what's happening either.
Damn, it was a bit of a stretch hoping for some miracle, but...
What, like Dean just rocking up and saying something like that he tripped and fallen or something?
If that's his excuse for not getting back, I'm asking Sal to hit him upside the head.
That's unproductive. Do it yourself?
I'm not hitting random people, Tyson.
Not random. Stop being quirky, god damn it.
Tyson, Sal just has to set the precedent. Has just set the precedent. Okay.
I gave them a wry smile as I went for the sword, picking it up. So what do we do with this? It's too heavy for me. Give it here, then. As I handed it off, the sudden weight caught Tyson off guard, and he dropped it. Shit, that's heavier than I remember.
You just handled it, or let it fall to the floor at least.
What? Are you referring to him having just touched it a second ago? Compared to his memory? What the fuck are you talking about? So what, we get Sal to use it?
Sal's probably the only one of us that I'd trust with a gun, and it'd be a waste to give this to him. You would trust the cop with a gun?
Cursed. I can handle a gun fine.
You're just as likely to turn it sideways because it's more efficient. No.
Alright.
Remember when we said that this character was also like racially coded? And people were like, you're just reading into it. Okay.
Yep. Tyson's the one character that holds pistols sideways. Gotcha. And that's outwardly apparent for some reason to another person, even when he's never done it yet. Okay. How do you...
I think
I
about
really
a lot of
struggle
things.
to accept the claim that this isn't done on purpose. How? How is Tyson not black on purpose? Literally how? Yeah, because it is. Isn't it? How? What the fuck are you talking about?
Now they're just arguing about it, which is stupid.
They're being quirky, but the quirkiness is that it's literally a joke about Tyson being racially coded in a story where the creator claims he doesn't know Tyson's racially coded? Then how do you write that joke?
Yeah.
Pretty sure Orlando would do the same, or like, maybe not given his family?
You said
What?
nothing just now, Dave. You said nothing.
I don't understand.
My head hurts. Point is, now that we've gotten it free, we really don't have a use for this. Our distraction served its purpose, but now what? Chekhov's sword.
Is this the timeline where it's finally a Chekhov's sword? Because I'm really tired of all these details being established and never coming up again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I guess we're on the real timeline, so there's like weird vestigial scenes setting up things that never come up ever again. Well, we can go downstairs and have breakfast, then decide what we're doing about Dean and Oswin.
It's a good a plan as any.
Fine, breakfast. I could do with a coffee anyway. We wandered downstairs and it was only a couple minutes before Orlando brought out pancakes, the others having already taken their seats. There wasn't much talking, but the mood seemed better than normal. Maybe it was just how I was sitting there, feeling as though there was an actual chance of surviving. Maybe it was something else. Dave. Alright, well he's just here now. So that's...
Told ya.
Uh-huh. I looked to my side and saw him floating there, none of the others seemingly noticing.
This is so stupid.
Mm-hmm. Probably best not to say anything, Dave. People might think you're crazy.
I'm confused if this is like the omniscient narrator of all of the timelines, why he hasn't appeared and spoken to Dave in the past.
I don't know. I also don't get... I can accept eye scar as new damage, but he doesn't have a chest scar. Which Thanatos explicitly has.
Yeah.
But he also wears clothes.
I don't know. I don't care.
I guess he's missing an arm. I feel like we still haven't established his height. What is his hand? Is that a bone hand or a rat hand? If it's a rat hand, why does he seemingly have like a wrist cuff?
I think it's a bone hand. I think the white that we're seeing is bone, maybe? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't care about it though either.
Because he does already have white hands. But I don't know what's that cuff on his wrist? Because going by the rest of his entire torso,
I think it's
and
a shackle.
The other, oh, maybe it's a shackle. Because as I can see, the rest of his overall torso and arm, he's not wearing a shirt under that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is a white hand, but maybe that makes the black thing.
Maybe it's his robot hand. It's a Terminator hand.
I don't mind. What I'm not looking at onto my screen can't hurt me.
It was then that Benson and Thanatos wandered in. Thanatos scrambling up to sit atop the table, and Benson taking a seat and helping himself to the coffee pot. Right. How'd things go outside?
Fine.
Fine, he says. Thanatos caught me looking towards Thanatos, the other one.
What are you looking at?
Nothing?
Nothing, he says.
There was a snickering from where I knew the other Thanatos was floating, but this time I knew not to say anything. What did you want me to say? Also, he knew not to say anything last time. He didn't. He only got caught looking.
I'd like you to focus, Dave. We have a plan we need to.
Focus. After hours of us doing nothing. He stopped mid-sentence, looking me over.
You doing all right?
Everyone's dying. Huh? At first I thought he'd hit me with the sound again, the world immediately going black, but without the pain in my head, just the faint snickering from the other Thanatos fading out after everything else. I was just hallucinating. It was a dream. He wasn't real. Part of me deep down worried that I was going crazy, and that Thanatos and Roswell were reading more into what happened than was appropriate. Or maybe not appropriate, just what was realistic. I just reminded myself that what was happening and what was important. I'm doing okay, just worried about Dean. Yeah. The answer was directed at Thanatos, but by the time I'd registered, he wasn't next to me. And instead, further down the table at Roswell, I felt the hand on my... What a horrible format for a sentence. Just, swear to God. Just read what you write out loud. And that'll do a lot to help. Just get these nightmare sentences. Hey. Oh, hey Ty, what's up? You losing it? Losing what? You know, going crazy. Maybe? A lot is happening in my head right now. Tyson dropped into the chair next to me, eyes narrowing. Spill it. What's there to talk about? I'm worried about Dean. I'm worried about Oswin, too. I'm worried about what's going to happen next, but I feel so calm about it. It's creeping me out. Creeped Thanatos out enough that he wandered away to talk to Roswell. Said we should all just give you some space while you think of a plan. While Dave thinks of a plan? Dave the plan maker? Well, I don't have a plan, just, I don't know, thoughts.
Maybe thoughts are what we need.
I think it's more what Dave needs to voice them anyway. I know I have too many sometimes.
Thanks, Sal. You can go back to not being in the plot again. It's fine.
Like...
Just the intrusive ones. Not necessarily unpleasant, but not necessarily helpful if said.
Cool. Sal, you can leave now. I'm with Haas on this. Like what? No! Don't ask him the stupid question that's not going to go anywhere.
Like where Memphis gets his shirts.
What?
We can skip if you want to. We can just skip. We can just not read this part.
This meta joke doesn't even work. Most of these characters don't know what Memphis looks like. Like, they've never met him before. That's like the story you wrote. What?
His?
Shirts?
They're a nice color and would probably fit me. Waka waka.
How do you know?
You can, you have the advantage of not having as much bulk as I do. You can wear nice clothes, easy to find clothes.
Have you tried Google? It can't be that hard to find clothes that fit.
Why do you think my clothes are plain?
He literally
I almost
never...
read that his jeans are plain.
We're addressing his fucking, like, track bottoms and strange cloth, like, shirt now? Like, as a plot point? Like, time to finally explain why Sal's dressed like this? He's too dumb to Google crocodile clothes and see what comes up on Reddit or whatever.
It's been bananas reading actual fucking literature for the past few weeks, and then every once in a while reading Password and being like, oh yeah, words, you can do bad things with them, and they don't work, and they can hurt people.
Or even just watching Acolyte and just seeing a concise story happen.
I actually haven't finished Acolyte,
Just
but
set up and pay off and just 8 episodes and woo. It's clean. Okay.
I haven't finished the Acolyte yet, but I did finish Marvelous Miss Maisel, which is one of the greatest shows of all time. And I had been putting off the last 6 episodes because I didn't want it to end. Like, I wanted to always have it. And then I finished it, and I was very sad because it was over, but it's so good.
I've been fascinated by how much I hear about people that get into a thing they like, and then they specifically refuse to ever finish it.
for
I've
that,
never
like,
done that.
effect.
I've
heard
never
of it
done that
several
for
times now,
normal.
like in the last few weeks. I'm like, weird.
Yeah. For most shows, I have never done that. I can't think of any time in my life where I've actually put off like just finishing something. But Maisel is a show that is so unfathomably good and gave me so much joy that the idea of like living through the rest of the future without being able to just pull it out of my pocket and feel happy was terrifying.
No.
But I can always rewatch it. But yeah, Maisel is
I remember it sitting on my
fucking
watch list for
fantastic.
so long that I forgot why it was there.
It's one of the
I just
funniest.
completely forgot what it was.
It's one of the funniest shows of all time. It's so fucking good, and it's so well written, and I love it so much. And the ending was really good. It really sticks the landing. But that's what I've been watching instead of watching Star Wars, because I needed something that wasn't gonna feed into my feedback loop of reading the internet and being mad at it. So I watched Maisel. So that's what I did. And it was good. And it's not Password, and Password is bad, and it hurts.
We're talking about Sal's clothes because the game doesn't want to write the plot. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah, Mistborn is good. I've been reading Mistborn, and it's good. It continues to be good. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
That's a good book.
The summer
What we're talking
Hikaru
about is
died.
more interesting. What?
The summer Hikaru died.
Oh, that's also good. That's also
real
good.
interesting.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. That's a good manga. What else have I been doing? Yeah, lots of stuff that isn't this. I finished Dread Delusion yesterday. That's a really good video game. It's not amazing, but it is good, and I liked it. The third act is a little bit weak, but overall, the experience is a good time. It's amazing. It's amazing when you do things that aren't Password. Is anyone still watching? Are we free?
This is prime content now. You've made things
This
worse
is what they're
for
here
yourself.
for?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a simple guy with simple tastes.
Literally, the Patreon versions of these videos have hundreds of views. It's upsetting. The moment we finish this game, I'm culturally irrelevant.
If I liked plaid, it wouldn't be an issue. I'd just buy shirts from where Dean gets his.
The plaid store. I'm at plaid. What do
I
you mean you're at
need-
plaid? I'm at plaid.
I need this scene to be over.
What do they think stores are? Do they think they sell one shirt? You should probably go to where Dean buys his clothes, Sal. If Dominic wore anything beyond a singlet, then I'd say ask him for options. A singlet? I think we went over this. It's like an Australian thing.
Yeah,
I think
Australian
this,
term
I think this
for
came up for
tank
like
top.
the tank top. I was like, what? Yeah, we talked about this because like, yeah, I'm so fucking confused when they called it a singlet. I'm like, that's extremely different. You might not need to wait around to ask. He's here. I'm sorry? Oh, thank God.
Everyone remain here. I'll go see what he wants.
Benson still floats every time he shows up on camera. It's so weird.
Fuck, the scene is over.
Is it
Just-
time?
no.
Is it happening? Is it secret? Is it safe?
I can't see anyone else out there, and he doesn't seem to have a weapon. Not exactly.
Oh, that's Benson.
Not exactly a surefire way to say things are safe, but we shall see.
I'm coming too.
Just let Benson handle it, Dave.
I was out of the dining room before Benson was, and it seemed as though everyone else was going to come along too. By the time we reached the back door, Benson had forcibly pulled me behind him and headed outside first. But I was right behind him, eager to know why he was here instead of Dean. He stopped as he saw us exit the house, putting up his hand slowly, if only for a moment.
Take it easy. Just here to talk.
You have some nerve showing up here.
What'd I just say? You made me think. You think I made the walk just for the hell of it?
Where's Dean?
Tied up.
Doing what?
I get the impression he means literally Dave. No, he means literally Dave.
Then where? In the cabin?
You know about the cabin?
Of course he knows about the cabin. We all know about the cabin, given it's been out there for years.
Makes sense. So far out in the middle of the trees, I figured it would just forgotten about.
And Dean?
Yeah, tied up.
Mind explaining why?
Short answer, Memphis. Well, I did the time, but he told me to do it.
Okay. He was meant to come back. That was the deal.
Don't you think I know that?
Then what happened?
Russell pushed past me, then Benson, and stood the closest to Dom, Thanatos leaping from his shoulder to mine as he wandered past.
Exchange when I was playing it first. Austin was going to say, I was going to show your friend a way out, but that's when Memphis got an idea.
Heaven forbid.
Figured that deal wasn't enough for him, so now he's sending a threat.
A threat? He sent you to deliver that?
No, I came here because of other reasons. But we got your friend tied up in the watermill. You know the place, right?
Yeah, I know the place.
But why there?
It's our way off the mountain. Makes for a quick getaway.
I can't believe the only landmark was the exit all along. Then we'll go get him and you keep Memphis distracted. Easy.
I believe there's some other complication.
I don't understand what this plan is.
The plan
Every
is
single time they
explained
introduce
in excruciating detail, but also it doesn't have to make sense because it will never happen. It literally never even approaches the way it said it's going to happen anyway. There's just a few days where a bunch of random events kind of happen, and it's already frustrating, but it's made more frustrating by the fact that it's the climax of the story. Like, it was all leading up to this, just an insane, just random characters coming out of the woods in no sensical order, and it's not clear what either party wants.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand what, I don't understand what his plan was. Like, what the actual plan here is of, like, we threatened Oswin, and we tied up your friend and put him near the escape route. Okay, what does that change? He was supposed to come back and tell us, but you just came back and told us where the escape route is, so I guess we'll just leave and get our friend, which is exactly what was supposed to happen. What? Like, what does this change? What does this alter? Other than that you tied up a friend, which we'll just have to take 5 minutes to undo. What?
It's all the more confusing because they tied up Dean where they tied up Dave in the other timeline.
Yeah.
But that was in the timeline where Oz disappeared. But he doesn't mention Oswin disappearing. He says that he roughed up Oswin when he's been tight-lipped. So, like, Oswin's seemingly in their custody in this timeline, whereas in our world, Oswin went back to the mansion, but then for some reason never came back or did anything, and everyone was waiting. Literally on both groups of people were just waiting around confused because they're so bad at communicating that nothing was happening. And then they frustratedly moved to the mill and tied up Dave there. But none of the details leading up to that plot point happened in this timeline. So why'd they put Dean there? I have no idea. It's just random shit happens from day 21 to 24. It's just like, it's so frustrating because stuff finally starts happening and it's the worst shit that has been written in the game. Womp womp.
Yeah, I don't know.
Think you didn't write this yet?
Yeah, I probably just forgot because it's nonsense. Yeah, Memphis wants you to bring him everything he needs. Roughed up Oswin a bit to get information, but he was pretty tight-lipped about everything.
What does he need? I know I'm going to regret asking this, but...
If we refuse, He's going your friend first and Oswin soon after. No point keeping him around if they're not useful leverage.
So wait, he's gonna walk from the cabin where he has Oswin to the watermill and kill our friend, and then walk back to the cabin and kill Oswin.
He's specifically going to kill Dean first, the person that they moved somewhere else.
Yeah, like this is what I mean. Is just like, why?
I don't know what's happening.
Wait, what?
My eyes widened. Was he serious? A feeling from my past swam to the surface, being threatened by Tyson's dad. It was... what? Has that happened before? I don't even remember.
I don't think we were shown it. I think it's
threatened
just
by Tyson's dad. It was close, but not nearly as intense as what I feel now.
Yeah.
Why is your go-to reflex right now to think of being threatened by Tyson's dad, of all things, of all your experiences you've had?
I guess because it was just the last
I have no idea.
time he ever felt threatened, I guess.
In a game about being murdered. Was this how Dean felt? Scared and confused? Most importantly, he was alone in that place. His only company, the very dragon that was likely going to take his life if we didn't play nice. Thankfully, I didn't need to say anything. Benson was the one to protest on my behalf.
My head hurts.
Uh-huh.
This will not stand.
And then what do you want to do? Leave?
We need to go save them both, obviously.
Yeah, how? We're just gonna bring a whole time machine out into the woods? What?
But it's a
This
room
shit again.
in the house. We can't do that.
You're gonna explain it to the boss then. Not like he's gonna listen. It's just like he's just unreasonable.
Uh-huh.
It just doesn't. This is not a villain. I mean, like, there are unreasonable people in real life who do extreme things because they're just dumb and evil. But when you create a narrative, you write characters that exist and then their thematics mean something. And Memphis, the problem with him isn't that he's just unreasonable, it's that he doesn't mean anything. He's
Yeah.
literally just bad and
He doesn't represent
unreasonable.
an idea. He doesn't know the plot of the game. He just acts like an insane person to
Yeah, he's just
But it's
loud
like-
and wrong.
And I want to say it's to facilitate what's happening, but facilitate what?
Yeah, he also like
what's the
isn't
payoff?
actually. The characters are also just ignoring him most of the time, so it's not like he's really
Yeah.
facilitating any of the tension in the plot. He's just bad.
Usually when a character's this broken, it was because you really wanted certain scenes to happen. But like, what the fuck? I just don't get what he was writing for. Like, what was his goal? What did he want to do? What cool scene was he excited to write? Nothing fucking happens. There's no payoff. Ugh. Roswell?
How long do we have?
I want the answer in the form of a word count.
I'm watching the Evo stream because Evo is happening.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really good. Tonight, you don't show up before sunsets, they're dead. Then you're next for making them come to you.
And all we have to do is just bring the time machine with us, then he'll let Oswin and Dean go?
Your friend, probably. Oswin, don't think so.
Typical.
I still don't understand. I don't get the plot of this. It doesn't have one, but I also don't get it. His insurance said he's not going to be duped. It truly feels like the people who like this game and like played it for years never read previous updates and like checked. So every plot point, they probably were like, this is so smart and intelligent because they like, it has been months since they last played and they don't remember what happened.
It had to be. Like, I can only imagine enjoying this because you literally don't remember it. Just period. And like, you hang out in the community, just kind of chatting with people about your scrumbly blimblos, and then you like read the update when it finally happens, having thoroughly not remembered the actual text of the last several updates and just the version of it you're talking about with your online friends. It's the Sherlock
He's in-
fandom.
Yeah, or worse than that, probably.
Oh, it's much worse.
His insurance is not going to be duped. Surprisingly logical for him, but given the circumstances, I can see why he'd go this route. This was the last thing. It's not logical, though.
No.
There's something else, too.
What now?
I want to cut a deal.
After how well the last one went?
Just between us, not involving the boss at all.
What deal did you have in mind?
I want to be left out of it. Both me and Jack.
Pardon?
Either you're going to kill the boss to get off the mountain or die trying. I don't want to be caught in a crossfire. You're going to kill the boss to get off the mountain, except for the fact that dragons are unkillable unless you force feed them Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
He also just like reached this conclusion, which is insane because these people will never do anything. But also,
And
he just
also-
arbitrarily changes allegiances in Route A versus B.
No, but didn't we also have a thing last time where, or at some point where he was like, I want to cut a deal, leave me and Jack out of it. And then when we did that, he still like attacked us and hurt us, and Jack still went crazy, and then we killed him, and then he died. Like it was.
I don't know. That's definitely what they definitely attacked us. Like they definitely were in the attack. So I don't know what the fuck he means. I feel like this didn't happen, and last time they were just like, they just started implying out of nowhere that Memphis is homophobic and that they're gay, and that was like the closest we had to the idea of them changing allegiances, and it went nowhere. It's very strange.
And how does Jack figure into this?
Is my cock sleeve? They're gay, Roswell. They're boyfriends.
No, wait just a damn minute.
So you're not? Jack's gonna be so heartbroken to hear that.
What assurance do we have that you and Jack will not side with Memphis if it comes to it?
You don't have any. If it keeps me alive, that's the option I'm going to take.
Well, that's hardly reassuring.
And what of Jack? Where will he be during all of this?
Watching Oswin.
All right, well, in that case, we shall need some time to prepare.
How much time?
How do we even measure that?
We've already agreed on the time before dawn or before whatever. He gave us a time limit that was non-negotiable. How is this not a time? How you can't barter for more time? What?
How do we even measure that? Our goal is to what exactly? Kill Memphis and we have a day's worth of preparation time?
The fact that the goal was proposed by Dom, because they didn't have a plan to kill Memphis. They still don't have a plan to kill Memphis, but they literally didn't even bring up the idea, basically. We might not even have that.
Do we have a deal? What?
What is even the deal? The deal's just I'm leaving. Okay. Is Jack gonna go with that?
As far as Oswin is concerned, I will be looking to retrieve him. I make no promises if Jack decides to get in the way.
Fran.
But as far as Memphis, he'll stay out of the way.
He shrugged, leaving it at that.
Don't keep him waiting for too long. Why can't they just have characters that like do things and have ideology and work and function and then just communicate cleanly?
Everyone just plans without planning for 3 weeks straight. And that's instead of actions happening. I just can't stress enough how much that's not a deal.
Yeah.
Like the him and
Correct.
Jack thing is just not a deal. There's no deal
Correct.
being made. If you don't want to be in the fight that happens, which is hilarious to even imagine a fight happening because they never do anything, you just leave. Is Dave Holloway gonna hunt you down to the ends of the earth? Like, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen? You work for the Psycho. You can just, like, if you're able to leave Memphis, then you can just leave. Like, the kids aren't coming for you. And back into the trees he went, leaving us standing there, wondering where exactly we stood on his deal. You said yes. That's where you stand.
Well, that could have gone better.
Could it have, though?
Beats me. It sure feels like we're out of options.
been put on a timer at the very least. Though taking down Memphis is a big ask.
Given guns aren't an option, doesn't leave us with much. Why aren't guns an option? I think this is a good circumstance where he should.
It's just that he's magically bulletproof. Even though he has eyes. So what does work on Memphis if we can't use guns? Bigger guns? I feel like Memphis being bulletproof wasn't even established. It's just we just know it from the other timeline. I don't think that the Baja Blast will kill him, Dave. Conversation even happened in this timeline.
Could be arranged, although I doubt we have the time nor specialized ammunition to really make that viable.
Almost invaluable.
Is poison out too? I'm not willing to gamble on poison given how much he can drink. He probably just metabolize it.
What? No, I can drink a lot, me being able to drink a ton of alcohol does not mean that if a cobra bites me, I'm fine.
Very strange.
Like, no, we won't give him poison. He'll just survive. He'll survive a cough syrup overdose. Okay.
Just try all of them.
What?
Just try all of the ideas.
I have a really dumb idea.
Shoot. If it's that dumb, then why suggest it? How dumb exactly are we talking? Better not be magic.
Thinking something a little bit more primitive than magic.
What, like a sword? The moment I said it, it dawned on me, though I didn't like exactly what was being insinuated. What? Ah! Jump scare, character swap. That was a very startling transition. We have one of those.
I don't believe he meant that as a legitimate suggestion.
He didn't say it. He never said his idea.
At this point, should we really be ruling out anything?
Holy fuck, can you all just let Thanatos talk? He still hasn't said his idea. I can't lift it though, so it's not like it's a great suggestion. Sal could probably do it.
Before Thanatos talks, I'm gonna pee and get a drink.
Eee.
Sit in this. Anticipation.
Wow.
Or we could just use a smaller knife.
If his scales are tough enough to make him bulletproof, I don't think a display sword is going to, in this case, quite literally cut it.
What, so if he needs surgery or something, he's just fucked?
Was really hoping he'd go on longer.
We need to give him appendicitis. And then he's fucked.
Unless they go in through the mouth, maybe.
If his insides are vulnerable, then we might have options.
Are we gonna? Is
Crazy.
Ant-Man gonna climb up his ass like people thought was gonna happen with Thanos?
It's the story that this game needs. Like?
Getting him to swallow something comes to mind immediately, but we don't have much hope of that.
Unless we sneak some razor blades or something into some booze and get him to drink it. How do you drink razor blades?
What do you think booze looks like?
I don't... You're just gonna randomly trick him into drinking alcohol in the middle of your fight? Like, what the fuck? What is this? What is this fucking... It's like Home Alone crossed with like Halloween hoaxes, approaches to trying to kill a dragon. Think that could work? No!
No.
I can't stress enough, they still haven't listened to Thanatos' idea. So what can we do? It's not like we can just hand over what he wants, even if we wanted to.
Hand me over to him. This is just a body anyway.
Thanatos is gonna climb up his ass.
Yes, finally. How's that going to help? He wants a time machine, not a rat.
Inside my body is a USB. What?
Just a USB, like, just the port.
I am just like a little bit like he's a flash drive. He's been a flash drive the whole time.
Throwing that in there.
Wait, what? Inside my body is a USB. Oh, the source code to make another vault, or at least that's what Oswin said when he put it in there. But earlier in the plot, you were saying that when you died, you just died and it was whatever, and there was nothing special.
Why would you have... Why would he have the data for the vault? Why would you have that just roaming around? That seems extremely insecure. Why is the rat, of all places, the vessel you would use for that?
I don't get it.
It's also like, crucially, Thanatos was the trade in Route B without this information. We've already attempted to trade Thanatos with Jack and Dom and it goes bad and everything, but without any of this context for why you'd trade Thanatos. They just said to give him a time machine, so if we just like, for some reason we're like, I don't know, fuck it, give him Thanatos' body, and then it goes bad. I don't understand, because this wasn't established before. What, so we're saying that he could just make his own? I thought he wanted the completed thing.
He doesn't exactly strike me as the patient type to take that option either.
So what, there'd be a second vault? Another version of you out there somewhere?
There's only one me, Dave. The USB is a fake. What?
What? What?
Is he just feeding them bullshit so that they tell him that?
I don't understand. Why? You just established this plot point and then you saying you're lying. What?
Just kidding, Dave. I got a little too silly.
So...
We try and dupe him with that instead. That feels even less likely to work. Well, I'm not hearing any better ideas. We have a display sword, an idea to get the guy to drink razors, some amount of guns, and what? One last plan to dupe him and get away?
But then we have to worry about him followers. Oh, not him followers. Then we have to worry about him following us, right?
That's a fair point, yeah.
Uh-huh. Thank you for proposing ideas that don't address the previous thing. I guess, was that his idea all along? Or did he forget to suggest his original idea? Or was it really sword? They all just magically knew he meant sword. I don't know. I sure as hell want off this mountain and don't want anyone following us home.
Which means we really do need to kill him, huh? Thank you for showing up in the game. Water is good. When you put it like that, it sounds almost impossible.
But there has to be a way, right? Some weakness or something? It's not like he's immortal. Unless... He's not immortal. He's just never died before. Like most people.
And he's in good shape too, I think. So hoping for a heart attack or aneurysm, spelled the wrong, isn't gonna work either. It's double spelled wrong.
When I said that he just needs to get appendicitis, I was joking. That was a joke. Then the characters actually suggest that stuff. Uh-huh.
If either of those things happened, I'd be impressed.
So much narrative led to this moment. and no one has even considered how to solve their problems. Well, if the sword was sharp, then I could try and go medieval on him. Why would the sword work when a gun doesn't?
And Benson also just explained that a sword wouldn't work on him.
Why do they think
what is
a
going
sword...
medieval?
Oh. Did your computer die?
Oh.
Oh. We'll be right back for these messages.
What? My computer's not dead. What are you talking about?
There you go. Now I can hear you.
Okay, I think this is Discord dying. It's not my computer. I'm still doing stuff.
It's just so frequently your computer. No, you did that thing where you not only robot, but you robot so hard that you just kind of turn into a note and then you vanish.
Weird.
You fully got like deleted from the timeline for a minute.
Usually what happens when my computer dies is I just go silent completely. And I talk, but you guys can't hear me.
You usually go, Milo, no!
Yeah, that's true.
And
I do go, Milo, no!
Then we lose you for 10 minutes.
yeah. But still, regardless, what does going medieval mean in this context? Trying to chop his head off? Because fucking Benson just said a sword won't work. So is it putting it down his throat? How is that going medieval?
I don't know, just the concept of using a sword. What, like knight slaying dragons style? Yes, Dave. Why is everyone befuddled by the concept of a sword and what it does? Like it needs explanation? I take it back. I don't like talking about the casual murder of my ancestors. Wait,
Gotcha.
Is that historical? Wait, knight slaying dragons is historical fact in this setting?
But also Japanese dragons? Eastern dragons?
The wrong dragons for those stories? There's a lot of questions raised by that line that's supposed to... that I don't... That also makes it like an insensitive joke from Dave's perspective. Like essentially referencing like actual hate crimes in history in that setting. So that's rough. Like he essentially made like a lynching joke. That's not... you don't want to make it canon. You don't want to joke about it being canon. That doesn't work. That makes it a racially motivated crime.
I don't think this is good.
You were the one that raised it.
Well, now I'm the one unraising it. Boner gone.
The watermill, huh?
Something come to mind?
I was thinking that if I was operational, I'd just blast it with some sound.
What, and annoy him? Dave.
I mean, knock him out. If this was possible, why haven't you done it before, you fucking idiot? I don't understand.
It's what he does in Route B when he lures him down to the vault. He like incapacitates him continuously. It's
but again, what I'm saying...
It's basically the only plan they almost have for Memphis. It's so bad.
But what I'm saying is, if it's already been established, why wasn't that just the plan to begin with? Why don't you do it if that works?
That doesn't work. It just makes him all angry and loud, and he burns the house down. I'd spoken before I'd realized it, slowly covering my mouth.
Alright, well, good to know. That's one plan we can rule out anyway.
Thanatos shook his head and gestured to the railing for me to set him down.
So here's where we stand. Dean's about to die, followed by Oswin, then the rest of us. Thank you for recapping the conversation we just had so that people didn't need to read the text and could have skipped to this point.
I went to speak, but Thanatos cut me off.
We can rule out Dominic and Jack, maybe, potentially, but in order for any of this to stick, Memphis needs to die. Any questions?
We have to kill my dad? Orlando. Orlando. Don't get me wrong, I'm not upset as you might think I am, but...
Is it even possible?
Oh my god, don't start the conversation over.
Bulletproof, display sword proof, I imagine fireproof and poison proof are only making things harder for us.
We didn't establish that he was poison proof. Someone just said that he can drink a lot.
Yeah. It's just not what that means.
You have that right.
So what? Where does that leave us exactly?
I don't know. Thank you. We have had a conversation that has recapped the previous conversation, and we have gone nowhere. I haven't tested any of this, so if anything's about to go wrong, your guess is as good as mine.
Our resources are what's in the house and what areas we can reach within reason.
Thank you.
Within reason? Like what?
Oh my god, I am so
I'm
fucking confused.
It pisses me off.
I just don't understand. I just truly...
It's like we're being forced to read the author's brainstorming of where the story should go in real time. Just a total lack of ideas, and every character has to explain in real time their thought process of not having any ideas. So they just have none. There's nothing. Within a reason?
I just don't...
Like what? Don't think we're gonna get shit out of the hedge maze or the greenhouse.
I don't fucking understand. I don't understand why they would spend this much time
Why are you
wasting
listing
time.
everything?
Or the pool, outside of maybe a hiding place.
Yeah, everyone go drown.
Like, yes,
and
there is a reason in text to like have characters think and say things out loud for the sake of having dialogue. But like, no. Like, this isn't how you do that, because these people aren't having a conversation. They just had this conversation, and now they're just repeating it for no reason.
In particular, the little scramble of, oh no, what do we do? We're in the trash compactor in Star Wars. Is like a 10-second conversation of running through ideas that don't work. Not just
but it
like
also
a
doesn't
full
take
brainstorm
place.
of the entire realm of possibility and all possible permutations in excruciating detail for an hour.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also not like, you know, a conversation using the trash compactor. It's like they're standing above the trash compactor and they go, wow, the trash compactor would be really bad if we fell down there. Yeah, the trash compactor, it's really bad. It would crush us if we were down there, and we wouldn't be able to prop it open, and we would just need to escape or find a way to stop it from being a trash compactor. And then they fall in the trash compactor and they go, oh no, we're in the trash compactor. This is really bad for us. We can't change the walls, and we have to escape or find a way to stop it.
There's no like
As it's
scrambling
compacting
through the
them.
desperate options. It's like I'm explaining the concept of a trash compactor for those that are just joining us. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, if our organs get squeezed out, then we'll be dead. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Why is this what you're talking about?
I am just so ready.
Like,
for this.
We had a full conversation, then looped back around. Then Sal was like, I imagine him being invulnerable is only making things worse. I'm like, what is that line? How do you put that line in this late? And what does it even mean, even if he said it earlier? Like, what a weird line in general in a vacuum, but made worse by context.
He's invulnerable, which means we can't shoot him or kill him or poison him, and he's immune to fire, and he's always invulnerable. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I was aware.
Can we skip to the part where he's vulnerable because you're probably gonna kill him?
Yeah. And we killed him with a gun in a different playthrough, didn't we? Or did Orlando just beat him to death?
Mysteriously kills him off camera.
Yeah.
We don't ask him how it happened. He doesn't elaborate. Just off camera, he and just the two dragons fight in the burning down mansion, and Memphis dies. And we don't know how it happened.
I just don't
profoundly unhelpful. Also,
care.
Just excruciating in that, like, at the very least, if you were trying to recreate Virtue's Last Reward, that would be where you have a way of killing Memphis, where Orlando successfully kills Memphis, but the timeline's too bad and what happens otherwise, so you desperately want to have a better timeline, and then Brain VoIPs the information over from the other timeline about how to kill Memphis, because that would make it also necessary to do the other route first, justifying its existence. Ideally, you'd also make a good route in the process, because the route B was excruciating, but like that's like the point. That's the format of the game you're emulating. That's what 999 and Virtue's Last Reward do. Is there's a primary, like, there's a billion bad ends in VLR, but there's always specifically the one really long bad ending that is like the most important bad ending, where you get the most crucial information, that is the one most mandatory route to do before the good ending. which is what Route B should be, because he recreated the same idea, but you don't gain any vital information from B to get A, and as far as I know, you don't need B to get A, so it's just pointless. It's like, and the whole point is to be able to get information from these other routes, so it's just, what are we doing?
If hiding is off the table, we'd be found eventually for sure.
Okay.
Wasn't the plan like a day ago to just leave via the main road? And that wasn't even an alternate timeline. I think that's still this timeline. Just leave. We can't run, we can't hide, so we fight. You did not roll out running. You just said that now. You're not fighting anyone.
None of us might have a choice, Tyson, if it's a choice between us or them.
And even if we did run, choosing to condemn Dean, then he'd just continue on until he found us.
Even after he got the time machine?
It's not a time machine, remember? And once he learns that, and the other people that were here are gone.
I don't think he'll ever learn that, honestly.
What's very confusing to me is that he knows it's not a time machine, and he was shown that it wasn't a time machine. So why is this a new circumstance?
I don't think he understands that it's not a time machine.
No, but he was told it wasn't a time machine when he was first coded in. So my point is there's no real difference between the first time he was told it's not a time machine and him coming here and getting it and finding out it's not a time machine.
Yeah.
The same outcome is going to happen both times. Change.
So, I also just don't think he has a complete list of who's here. So like, I don't know why they think they can't run. Like, I don't think that Memphis knows Haas exists as a person. Just in general.
Yeah. I don't know. My head continues to hurt. This game is going to give me an aneurysm. Because it's really bad. He's gonna come looking for us to try and get it to work? How would he know that you guys can use it? What? What do you have to do with fucking anything? What are you talking about?
I guess he's just an idiot psychopath, but they also can perfectly predict what like the end results of his behavior are going to be.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like learned helplessness, the video game. We looked at each other, and one by one I could see each of my friends deflate as the realization set in that we had no good options. How do you bring yourself to kill someone, let alone someone who is likely unkillable? How do you bring yourself to kill someone? I imagine for a lot of them it's not particularly hard at this point to consider killing Memphis. Thanatos, can I ask you something?
What?
Have we ever killed Memphis at all?
As in?
The fuck do you mean as in? In any timeline? Anything that could offer a clue?
I'll need time to check.
How is that not at the tip of your tongue as being true or not? How would you not know? I don't understand what information he has in general and what he's operating on. It kind of was just introduced that he has to like search everything for several minutes at a time or longer recently. Like that just like we played multiple entire routes and only now at the end of Route A he suddenly has to have like he has to run a search for a span of time.
I'll need time to check. You clearly remember one way already, at the very least.
I gulped, slowly nodding my head. He went immediately still, and Roswell wandered over to scoop him up. Every now and again he'd twitch, though after the first minute of waiting I left him to it. Alright, well, until we hear back, what do we do?
I feel we have to open the armory up after all.
Why were you having reservations of doing that?
But didn't they say they couldn't because no matter what, it always ended in bad things? So we could open the armory, just not any other way. It just has to be this way. Okay. Is that wise?
I would say no to a gun. Or I wouldn't say no to a gun.
Do you know how to use one safely?
How hard can it be? Take the safety off, point it at the bad guys, pull the trigger. Simple.
You know how to take the safety off.
Not exactly.
It's not very hard. You can learn how to do it in 2 seconds.
I was gonna guess that's the part where you turn it sideways if Haas hadn't already clued me into that being wrong.
What?
I think these characters might be stupid.
Good grief.
I guess them going to the gun range didn't happen in Route A or something?
I don't
It's
even
weird
remember them going to a gun range anywhere else, but any other time. But very specifically, just
It's when Dave's in his peak depression era, there's a part where he walks all the way down to the end of the driveway, down to the cliff, and is contemplating throwing himself off. And then he was like, "Where was everyone this whole time?" And they were all at the gun range, apparently.
Oh yeah, they were practicing guns.
Which is a weird detail that the game seems to always ignore and never bring up again. Like, because everyone seems to not know what guns are, and I'm like, what wasn't the whole point?
What's weird to me about this specifically is just this idea of you don't know how to flip the safety. I think that it would be holding the gun sideways. And the reason why this is weird to me is because Grizz is trying to write characters who don't know how guns work. But I just get the impression Grizz doesn't know how guns work. And granted, I'm an American and he's an Australian, so I don't know how guns work in Australia in terms of getting them and having access to them. But I can tell you pretty clearly that it takes about 2 seconds to learn how to turn the safety off a gun, and this is not actually a problem. And you could literally not know the concept of what a gun even is, and in 5 minutes understand how a gun works and learn how to shoot it. I don't know if you would be a good shot because that requires hand-eye coordination, but operating a gun is not particularly difficult, and learning how to operate a gun is literally point and shoot.
I think
what?
I think, I don't know, they're just trying really hard to lean into being quirky and funny.
Yeah.
At the worst time possible. So I'm losing my mind a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. It's whatever. I don't care.
They knew the stakes for so long, and they're just now thinking to prepare in some way. The road blew up 10 days ago.
Yeah.
10 days ago, and no one fucking cared. I don't know if I'd be any good with a gun either.
It's absolutely a problem needing to be solved. I imagine anything easy to use isn't going to do much against his hide.
We'd probably bring Oswin his revolver regardless of what we do. His iconic revolver.
I concur, if only for his peace of mind.
If he's a scientist, would there be anything of use in his lab?
I would simply melt the dragon.
He's a scientist, so if there was, only he would know.
Not necessarily.
Roswell's gonna save the day.
What did you have in mind? If he's got the bare basics, nothing there is going to be overly useful. But anything a bit more exotic might be worth bringing. I don't know what he could do with them out in the woods, but you never know.
Yeah.
I was about to joke like it's time for Roswell's moment to shine, like the little girl that knows gymnastics in Jurassic Park 2. It's
Yeah.
the one very specific skill is going to pay off. Right? Nope. He has no plan. He's not going to make any kind of acid mixture. He's just going to grab stuff from the lab to take to Oz.
Yeah.
They're just going to show up where Oz is a hostage next to the invulnerable dragon mafia man and just try to like give him 500 chemicals and a revolver and be like, I don't know, man, figure it out. This is the best we could think of. While Memphis is just there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we better go check.
It's on the way to the armory as it is, so at least that way we can all stick together. Perhaps it'd be best if we split the group in half.
Wait, what? Oh, I get it. They'll stick together until they get there, and then they split up.
I guess there's no other places we need to search. Sure. We headed inside, Roswell holding Thanatos as we headed into the basement. Then, from there, into the passage behind the secret door. Alright, so, if anything seems useful, be sure to point it out.
And useful as in anything to kill a dragon with.
Yeah. Sure, I'm glad I chose this group to follow. We could test it. We could test it on him. It's for the greater good, Orlando. We just need to burn your arm a bit, just to see if it works. Don't you want to save Dean, Orlando?
You're welcome to go and explain guns to Tyson, then.
Did you see how both of them looked following Benson in there?
About how we all feel, I think.
Roswell, does anything spring to mind immediately that we could be looking for?
I think Orlando is probably the better one to ask here.
Me? I'm nothing like my dad. Thankfully. No, you're literally a dragon. Also, if we had an entire conversation about how they're completely invulnerable and there's no idea as to how to solve them, and now you're like, but now you're just gonna like conjure up an idea on how to hurt a dragon, was a huge waste of time.
When this is all done, can you share your dislike of your dad with Tyson's dislike of his? For now, can we just focus?
Sorry, let me think. I forgot to think last time. A heavy-duty injector gun could work, though I don't think we're going to get close enough to dealing with
though?
it. Why would
How could it? Yeah.
why
how
would
could a
why would
heavy duty?
why would a needle work when a bullet can't?
I am struggling.
They gotta
with
go.
this.
They gotta go in through the eye like and pray. I'm a genius. Even if we did, aren't his scales like, you know, stab proof? There are some fleshy parts still you could get to, and maybe it could work there, but...
Does he smoke? Maybe we could trick him into using one of those exploding cigars.
Roswell, please delete yourself
Yeah.
from the game. The files.
Do you just happen to have one of those that'd actually blow him up?
Not exactly, no.
Could we use explosives at all? If we're inside a water mill, would that be safe? Dean's inside there, so we'd be putting him at risk if we bring the whole place down. Which we're not doing.
In any other situation, I imagine burying him alive would have worked wonders. Memphis, I mean, no shit, the person you were talking about.
Oh, good. I was about to say. Roswell placed Thanatos down by Oswin's desk and started to look around. The others did so too. Though there ultimately wasn't much to look at. There's literally like hundreds of things in here. Roswell made a beeline directly to the cabinet of dangerous things. Ah, the danger cabinet, which is marked danger, and the other two checked the other room. Me, though, I went to Thanatos, trying to shake the feeling that I was being watched again. Just in my head, it's not real. Just need to figure out. I sat down on Oswin's chair and looked through what drawers there were unlocked, occasionally looking back to Thanatos to see if he was awake again. Thanatos? But he was still twitching. looking through who knows how many different things to find the answer to our problem. Oh, what about this?
Seriously?
What'd you guys find? I called back over my shoulder, hearing them make a discovery to the room.
I'm not finding much over here that we could use to immediately put him out of action.
Just stuff that could make him sick. Dave, what are you doing?
Just waiting on Thanatos?
Well, Orlando's found something worth considering.
I know, I asked what it was. What the fuck? What is this interaction?
What is it?
Acid.
We finally caught up with me. Great.
What, like hydrochloric?
I just saw acid and had the idea.
Well, what kind of acid is it?
Nitric?
Well, that's dangerous. Someone really should tell Oswin off for having such dangerous things in a lab.
How dangerous are we talking?
Very?
Cool. The scale of 1 to 10.
If 10 is the most dangerous thing, it pushes 11 easily. If this gets into contact with anything organic, it could explode.
Is that true? I mean, I know nitric acid is used in...
I have no idea.
I just think of it as corrosive, not explosive. I guess it's probably
I just can't believe they're like,
explosive.
I have an idea. What about acid? I'm like, isn't that the premise that would lead to you coming here? Is to look for acid specifically? They drive me crazy.
Yeah. I guess it is... Yeah. I don't know. The thing is that, like... I don't know enough about chemistry. I'm not going to talk about this. I know nitric acid is actually not that weird of a thing to have in the lab. Here I was thinking we could injure him enough he can't recover, like blind him or something. My Hoss voice sounds bored because it's the one voice I can do that gives my voice a rest. So I just am as neutral as possible when voicing him.
So it's not even going to be a quick death? What if he gets mad and, I don't know, starts shooting wildly while he can't see? Well, then he'll miss because guns don't... Yeah, it's hard to aim. Or he decides to torch the place. But you know, rescuing Dean.
What are we even going to do about that? Just walk in and make the trade, or do you think he has him somewhere else?
As in, somewhere we could sneak to and avoid confronting Memphis entirely?
It'd mean we could do any number of things knowing Dean is safe.
Until you remember that we can't really afford to destroy the place without stranding ourselves on the mountain.
You can just leave through the front door. If Memphis is blinded / dead and Dean is safe, you can just leave the normal way, which we know works because you do it in other timelines. And there was literally a slightly different version of this timeline that I think might have gotten voiped out of existence by Dave dying a few times or something. Was also just, hey, go to the front door and leave when the house starts burning. So it's been the plan several times in this timeline. The fuck are they talking about?
Right. I'm done looking. Verdict? So to answer the more important question, you've succeeded in killing Memphis more than once.
Alright, how?
I should clarify, you as a group have managed to string something together. Why is this not filling me with a lot of confidence? Because most times where he dies, he's taken a few of you out.
Most times? So there's times where he didn't. You said most times. That's he just said that there's timelines where we successfully kill Memphis and no casualties happen. What options have worked, though?
And the one that works the most is dropping the house on him, buried alive, basically.
I'm surprised that works. If he can withstand bullets, dropping a house on him, I wouldn't have thought worked.
I'm surprised that works. I'm surprised that works. That's what he just said.
Yeah.
Well, it's easier of the two to set up. The other option is to blow him up. But wait. What? I thought they said that we couldn't blow him up.
Well, they're talking about a bunch of plans and why they're bad, potentially endangering Dean in the mill and so on, but he's just talking about things that have happened ever.
Yeah, I guess. I thought he was saying most of the times that it worked, these worked. Even though he just, as you said there's one time where you kill him, most of the time that you kill him, this happens, which is very odd, but okay.
Well, he says that we kill him in multiple timelines.
Yes.
We killed him
But didn't
more
you say
than once.
that after saying there was only one time we actually killed him and
No.
got away with it?
No, he never said that. He just, the grammar is
Gotcha.
so bad that he implied, I'm saying he implied else otherwise, because he said that there's multiple, we killed him more than once.
Yeah.
But then he's like, but the bad news is most of the time that happens, he takes a few of you out. I'm like, that's where I'm like, what do you mean most of the time? That implies there's times where he doesn't take some of us out.
Yes,
Which
yes,
seems
exactly.
like a mistake.
Yeah. Okay.
What, with a
well,
bomb?
Where are we even going to get explosives? I don't know. Roswell just explained how there's acid that if it touches an organic compound, it will explode. Better question is how you're going to get them close enough without killing yourselves.
If we could keep Dean safe, then none of this would really matter. We bury him and then just call for help, right? With the thing you can't do explicitly. When we don't need to worry about someone killing us, we have a lot more time.
True.
Roswell looked over the vial of acid in his hand carefully, nudging me after having decided something.
I'm gonna fill a couple of these up.
Seriously?
More importantly, why?
It's acid. What the fuck do you mean? That's stupid. Why is your answer stupid?
You never know. Might need to burn away the ropes holding Dean, for instance.
Or you can just untie him, you fucking idiot. A knife, Roswell. You can use a knife for that.
I'm doing it anyway.
Why are they being coy about why he's bringing the acid? That's clearly to fight Memphis.
Why is he being annoying?
I don't
Because he's
understand.
Roswell.
I don't understand why the writing does this. Everyone just kind of collectively forgot that they never ruled out that the acid would work on Memphis. So they're like, why are you bringing it? It's like, it works on Memphis. What the fuck are you talking about? With the huff, he went back into the other room, Orlando looking between him and us, unsure what to say.
Come on, just say it.
Should we be bringing more than just acid, or...?
Do whatever you like. Roswell wandering off to play with chemicals has ruled out what I wanted to do.
Which was?
Knock the three of you out. Excuse me, what? Why would you want to do that? They could have some flash of insight while unconscious. Beats me what they remember. Oh yeah, because Orlando can see
He's
the
also
stuff.
voted in, yeah.
And because it's, yeah.
If you want us to remember
Imagine
something...
having that ability and then not being relevant. That not being relevant and never coming up in the plot.
In Orlando's case, it exclusively comes up in Route B.
Yep.
He knocks out Orlando, then Orlando just kind of runs around naked for the rest of the story until he kills Memphis. And you're like, what? Where was he? If you wanted us to remember something, couldn't you just tell us at this point?
And run the numbers for every instance, and for each of you, pass. Sounds like you wanted to do it more for fun than anything else.
For what it's worth, I prefer not to be unconscious on the floor, thanks.
If I put you under, I promise I'll at least leave you looking somewhat dignified this time.
What do you mean this time? I'm going to check on the others.
Yeah. Okay. Why?
As if there's anything else I can think of, anything else in here I can think of using, unless there's some amazing poison we know is going to work or a weapon that we don't already know about. I got up and went to leave the lab when I heard footsteps approaching, instead of just freezing on the spot. Instead, just I got up and went to leave the lab when I heard footsteps approaching. Instead, just freezing on the spot. The others stepped into the lab, led by Benson, before I had to go anywhere.
I trust nothing is wrong.
No, just weighing options. Well, we have guns now, that's something.
Though we don't have appropriate ammunition as Benson thought.
So where does that leave us?
A plan short of how to save Dean, it appears.
That just sounds like a fancy way of saying we have nothing. We have acid?
Pardon.
Acid, like, you know, acid from the other room. What are we gonna do with acid? Right? Why are they like this? Why are we re-explaining this? Roswell's planning on just getting some vials. Roswell's planning on just getting some vials of it in case we need it. That's still not answering this question. You did not answer his question.
Bullets might not work, but acid could potentially if we could get it into him somehow.
Into?
Yeah.
Just throw it in his eyes. Acid injection is that. An acid injection's terrifying.
What, with a pneumatic injector?
Wait, you think we can just inject him with acid?
It's weird how it's impossible to kill a dragon except for all of the ways you can like easily kill a dragon. Remember when I made that joke 50 hours ago in the playthrough? And it just turns out to be real?
Baja Blast will kill him, Dave.
It's just ridiculous.
Enough air injected into an airway will run the risk of causing an embolism.
Did you... Enough air injected into an airway.
Not into an airway, it should be a blood vessel, I think, is what he meant.
I'm like, what the fuck did you say?
Or a vein, an artery.
Yeah, they're talking about how it's just injecting.
They give
air
him
into
a
someone's
tracheotomy
blood is
and
bad.
just puff some air down his throat.
Just enough air injected into an airway. Especially when you're talking about an injector amount of air. You're like, oh yeah? You're gonna give him a like syringe shot of air into his throat where the air is already? That'll kill him? Proofread, I swear to God. So this all just, the fact that we're talking about embolisms now just feels like we're like down a Wikipedia hole now. Like it's just info dumping.
Which isn't exactly fast enough to put him out of commission. True.
Hey, Dave, any idea what they're talking about? No? Cool.
Small pockets of air that cut off blood circulation to the brain would be the simple way to explain it.
Okay.
This game better literally end with an embolism, or this is completely wasted time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
if we can do that, for sure, yeah.
Still need to get close enough.
Any idea what we can do, Benson? You have to go help Oswin, but he's not where Dean is.
Yes, well, I can't rightly let you confront Memphis alone now, can I? Memphis is when we arrive, Memphis is going to want us to hand over something to him, and even then there's no telling what he'll do to us after.
So, what do we give him then?
Pardon.
Have to give him something. We just give him Thanatos, right? That's what he wants, even if it's not exactly going to do him any good. But isn't that, like, bad?
Bad how?
Like, now all of a sudden Memphis can do the bullshit of being able to see other people dying? Isn't that bad?
Assuming if such a thing would traumatize him enough, potentially.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Thanatos gestured for all of us to come closer, and we stood around the desk he was perched on.
He tries anything and I just turn myself off. I might not be able to see without this body, but if the plan is to go out and confront him, and I'm going to be out of range anyway.
You're just gonna shut down? Like that?
Think about what you can do now, Dave. Imagine if Memphis got to that point as well.
Ah, right.
Just so we're clear, what exactly are we talking
No,
about?
please don't explain it.
Being able to recall trauma without needing to use the vault.
Potentially problematic if his demise traumatized him enough for him to remember before it happens.
That creates another problem, though. This assumes that's not happened already.
We can be assured of that, because I don't remember anything on this branch at all.
Well, you wouldn't if you had your memory deleted, right?
You have a point.
But Thanatos would only delete his memory if it worked, right? Unless you're planning on saying something changed that.
I hate to be the one to bring this up, but if we go rescue Dean and Oswin, we should probably do this sooner rather than later. The moment it gets dark, we're going to struggle.
Please.
Are you even ready?
Please.
Can you even be ready for what
Shut
we're
up.
about to hope to do?
I suppose so.
But the plan so far is to go get Dean, then afterwards help Oswin, right?
As much as I would like to secure Oswin first, yes, I believe that is the best way forward. So once we're secured, everyone some method of defending themselves should the worst happen. Should the worst happen. Not worst, worse.
Yeah, it's supposed to be worst and once weave. Two
This
typos
is
in the same
fully
sentence.
falling apart.
Uh-huh.
We should leave.
I need to generate a list of all the people that recommended this game so I can know to ignore them forever.
I think this is it. I think I'm done for today.
Just
I can't take any more.
toaster rejection switch.
Goodbye, comment section. See you next time.
He's a sad boy.
My head just really hurts and I want to not be at my desk right now.
Oh.